Hello everyone, welcome to What If Naruto Finds Sword of Death and Becomes Shinigami movie. Naruto X Bleach crossover. Before we start, please go support NagashBlackHand for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. This is the translated version I made. There will be some wrong he or she calling here because it's translated, so let me clear this. Naruto is a male in this story. Chapter 1. We met in Nami no Kumi, where a certain blonde had just had a conversation with a certain Haku. When he was heading towards old Tazuna's house, something caught his attention. To the right of him he saw a small cave. With the curiosity of a child his age, he did not hesitate to investigate. Upon entering the cave he saw how there were signs that someone lived there, since there were animal bones, cloth, and something else, which, due to the state of these, seemed to have been there for a long time. Taking a look inside the cave, she saw something that caught her attention. This was a sword of enormous size. Ichigo's sword when he becomes a Shinigami. Naruto thought it was about as big as Zabuza's sword. Naruto went towards it and looked at it and then picked it up, which surprised him since it was extremely light. Naruto, okay, it doesn't weigh anything, maybe I'll keep it. I totally think no one is going to claim it. When he was going to take the sheath, which was next to the sword, he began to close his eyes and after a few seconds he fell to the ground. When Naruto began to open his eyes he could see a person with a large black trench coat, brown hair and glasses. I'm surprised that you are sitting as if nothing had happened. Naruto, first, who are you and where am I? And second, what do you mean by sitting as if nothing happened? My name is, and I am the sword that you just picked up, and right now you are inside the sword, since there's another presence in your subconscious, so we cannot be in that space. Naruto, sorry I couldn't hear your name. You can repeat it? My name is... Naruto, seriously, if you don't say it louder I won't be able to hear you. Leave it, child, it seems that you are not yet ready to know my name. But don't worry, now I'll explain everything to you. The sword you just picked up belonged to a Shinigami servant, who was in charge of eliminating hollows, which no longer exist, and they also had the task of going to free the weapons, since if a soul is still tied to something in the world human, Shinigami's helpers have to free him. Naruto, does that make me Shinigami's assistant? Who knows, it all depends on her. If she wants you to be her assistant I'll probably send you to call. But well, leaving that aside, I have more things to explain to you. Naruto only paid more attention, ignoring where he was standing. The sword you just picked up is called Zanpakuto. It is the spiritual weapon that every Shinigami assistant has to carry out his work. They are called spiritual since you have a spirit inside, which adapts to yours so that it helps you. A perfect synchronicity between sword and Shinigami's assistant. The Zanpakuto have different forms. The first is sealed, in which the sword is now. The second is the released, which is obtained by knowing the name of the sword, and the third is the Bankai. Naruto, but how can I free the sword if I can't hear your name? You can hear my name when you are ready. Before you leave there is one more thing I must inform you. He said so that out of nowhere a person identical to Naruto appeared next to the spirit. This was a balcony color, and his eyes were yellow. Hello little boy, he said with a distorted voice. This is your hollow part, or if you want to give it a name it would be White Naruto. As you see there are two spirits which are opposite. Since we don't want to fight to see who stays with you we have decided that you have to choose it yourself. Naruto, what if he chose both? He asked innocently, since his way of thinking of not leaving anyone abandoned plus his innocence did not allow him to choose one. This surprised the two beings a little and they looked at each other. White Naruto, saw what's going to happen, he's chosen both of them so there's no problem for me. Not for me either. Then Naruto began to disappear. Naruto, what's wrong? You're already waking up. When you want to return, just put yourself in a lotus position and place the sword on the ground, but let it have contact with your body. And finally, we have to warn you that we have modified your body a little to better adapt to your new powers. When he finished speaking, Naruto disappeared. I think that boy can do great things. White Naruto, I think so. Damn, how can it be that he just met a person and he no longer wants to hurt him? I think that if he tried to take over his body, I would prevent it myself. Abroad. You could see Naruto, who was waking up. When he stood up, he realized that he was taller, more or less a little taller than Sasuke. He went to pick up the sword sheath, and then begin to put it away, but he was surprised when he saw his reflection. His hair was now blonde but with a hint of orange, his mustache marks were gone. Naruto, I think I look much better than before, he said, still looking at his reflection. White Naruto, do you want to look better? Naruto, how? And why can't I see you? White Naruto, you can't see us since we can't get out of here, unless you have some experience, but don't worry, you'll get there. And I could improve you like that, he said, so that Naruto's eyes will turn yellow with the sclera and pupil black. Naruto, yes, I look better, but it would be a very drastic change. Maybe I can use it in combat. White Naruto, okay, but they will only serve to intimidate people weaker than you. How about we put it to use? Naruto, and what would that be? White Naruto, I can make them like a Dijitsu, having the ability to improve your reflexes and vision. Of course, if you compare it to the Sharingan it falls short, but hey, it's something. Naruto, it's okay, I still like it a lot. Thanks, White. White Naruto could only smile, then cut the communication. Naruto, I think it's time to go to old Tazuna's house, he said, to place the sword on his back and start walking. When the blonde arrived at the house, he entered to immediately be the center of attention. Kakashi, Naruto, where were you? What about your change in appearance? And that sword? Naruto, well, I've been exploring a little, when along the way I found a cave, in which this sword was. And my change? I don't know. He lied about the latter on the advice of his sword. Sakura, but why do you want that sword if you probably won't even be able to hold it? Naruto in response took out his Zanpakuto to point it at Sakura, which she was surprised since he was only holding her with one hand. Naruto, do you see it? And only with one hand. Sasuke, hey Dobe, give me that sword, it will be better used on an elite fighter than on a loser like you. Naruto, first the weapon is called Zanpakuto and second. Don't even dream of it, fear it. Kakashi was surprised at the response, as Naruto would have surely gone crazy and started yelling, but instead he remained calm. Sakura, Naruto, give the sword to Sasuke, he deserves it more than you. Give it to him, Naruto. He will not be able to carry me since my spirit is not linked to him. Naruto just nodded to himself. Naruto, very good, but on one condition. Sasuke, what would that condition be? Naruto, if you can't lift it, you won't ask me for it again. Sasuke echo. Naruto then handed him the sword so that Sasuke could take it, but to everyone's surprise, when Naruto let go of the sword, he fell to the ground along with Sasuke, who was doing his best to lift it. But the result was the same, it didn't move even a millimeter. Naruto, you see. This Zanpakuto is linked to my spirit, which means that no one except me can carry it. Sasuke could only grunt to sit back down. Naruto, by the way, Tsunami, how is the little one? Tsunami, okay. I think what you told him taught him a life lesson, it still hurts me to see him that way. Naruto, I don't like seeing people in that state either, but sometimes it's necessary. Tsunami could only nod. White Naruto, hey Naruto, you don't want to take her to bed, right? Or if? Naruto thought, of course not, she is pretty but I don't feel attracted to her, plus she is older than me, she even has a son. White Naruto, you'll see that over time age matters little, ha ha ha, life has to be enjoyed. So, why don't you buck her now, ha ha ha? Naruto, no. He responded to cut off the communication. A few days passed like this, in which Naruto trained with Kakashi, but also with his Zanpakuto and with White Naruto thanks to his clones. Because when he sent a clone to do the shopping, he realized that he remembered everything the clone had done. Naruto was waking up, when he noticed that none of his companions were present, deducing that they were on the bridge. A twist took him out of his thoughts, making him grab his Zanpakuto and run out to the garden of the house, where he saw Inari on the ground, next to his mother who was being carried by two men. Naruto, what do you think you are doing with Tsunami? You can let her go now or I will kill you, he said, activating White Naruto's eyes. The men were scared by his eyes when they saw him, but when they saw that he was just a child they calmed down. Bully 1 boy, leave if you don't want us to hurt you. Naruto, try it, he said, taking his Zanpakuto and getting into a fighting pose. Bully 2, you wanted it. Immediately afterwards he unsheathed his katana to try to cut the blonde, who dodged it and then made a horizontal cut, which cut the thug's throat. Bully 1, what did you write? Damn brat, he said, quite upset and scared when he saw his friend fall to the ground, and then die from choking on his blood. Naruto, I killed him. And now you follow, he said, to position himself in front of the thug at a high speed, and then make 2 vertical slashes quickly, causing 2 streams of blood to come out of the X-shaped wound that had been made in his chest. The bully fell to the ground from the pain, only to be finished off by being skewered in the head by Naruto's Zanpakuto. And that's it for the first chapter. I hope you liked it. Naruto will eventually acquire the appearance of Ichigo. The only thing that will not change will be his eyes, which will be blue, and his hair, which will be orange but with a yellow hue. I call the Shinigami as helpers since in Naruto there is already a Shinigami, and that would mean changing history. That's why I named them that way. Chapter 2. Naruto was heading towards the bridge after talking with Tsunami and his son, since today was the day that Zabuza and his assistant would surely attack. When he finally arrived he could see that there was a great fog, a sign that Zabuza was already in combat with his team. Naruto, I think I'm a little late, right? White Naruto, I think so. What do you think? He said, looking at the Zanpakuto. I think so. Naruto, well, I think I can still help, he said, to go into the fog. After a while he found Sakura protecting the builder. Naruto asked him about Sasuke, making him answer that he was in that mirror dome. Naruto turned around and could see a large dome of ice mirrors. Naruto, very well, I'll go help Sasuke, you stay here, okay? The pink-haired girl could only nod to watch as the blonde went inside the dome. Tooth of the house. Sasuke was about to turn into a human pincushion, but Naruto prevented that by standing in front and using his Zanpakuto to block the Senbon. Naruto, are you okay, Emo? The raven-haired man only nodded as he growled at his new nickname. Wow, that sword is new, right? Naruto, yes, she's still a Zanpakuto, and you must be Zabuza's assistant, right? Yes, I am your weapon. Ate the answer. Naruto frowned but let it go. Well, it's time to finish with you, she said, and then threw more Senbons. Naruto defended himself as best he could with his Zanpakuto, while Sasuke could only protect himself with a kunai, causing many Senbons to stab him. Naruto, damn, I can't always depend on this, he said, to shift his eyes to white Naruto's, making the Anbu a little intimidated, and the Uchiha will look at the blonde's eyes in surprise. I don't know what those eyes do, but you won't be able to beat me with this active technique, he said, to throw more Senbons, being surprised that the blonde was able to block them all. Naruto, you're going to need more speed to damage me. Thus a few minutes passed where the Uchiha had awakened his Sharingan, but it was of little use to him since he was not used to it, causing him to not have the speed to react. So within minutes he had fallen unconscious. Meanwhile Naruto was still standing, even with some Senbons stuck in, since the Anbu had increased their speed. Let it go, kid, you're strong but not strong enough to defeat me, Naruto, who was already quite tired and breathing heavily, spoke. Naruto, not yet. Until I die I will not stop in my dream. Boy, leave it, your partner is already dead. Naruto, lie. He is unconscious, I can still feel his chakra. The Anbu was surprised since the child's chakra was almost zero and a simple child could not detect it, only a sensor could. Naruto thoughts, shit guys, I haven't trained enough. I think I'll get to this point, he said with sadness but with a clear decision to fight until the end. White Naruto, don't say that, Naruto, there is still a solution. Naruto, and what would that solution be? White Naruto, you know you're part hollow. The blonde just nodded. White Naruto, well, you can expel a little of that power. Naruto, and no, you said it before because it's probably a double-edged sword or something similar. No? White Naruto, yes, the problem is that by not controlling it you will let yourself be carried away by its instincts, In the worst cases, you could become one forever. Naruto, and why do you tell me it's a solution? White Naruto, because I would be the one who will try to control you, but since I don't know that, you could just lose control, but I could stop it. So I will help you expel a little power and not get out of control. Don't get used to it though, as you will have to train it yourself. The blonde just nodded with a smile. I think it's time, Naruto. In the real world. The ANBU continued looking at the blonde, who began to get up, and how he placed his sword in front of him, as if he was going to activate the Bankai. Naruto, Zangetsu. Immediately afterward, a pillar of blue energy shot into the sky along with a large explosion, which dissipated the smoke and destroyed the mirrors. Sasuke, who was on the ground, woke up to see how the pillar of energy vanished. Zabuza, but what is happening? Kakashi, do you know something? Kakashi, no, but I think it was Naruto. Zabuza, the blonde boy. Kakashi, look, he's the only one missing. The two Jounin rank ninjas stood there watching what was going to happen. When the energy dissipated, they could see Naruto with completely orange hair plus a different outfit, but what was most surprising was the change in his sword. Zabuza, is that sword a Zanpakuto? She said with notable amazement in his voice. Kakashi, that's what he told us, that it was called Zanpakuto. Do you have anything special? Zabuza, that Zanpakuto was different before, right? The silver-haired man nodded in amazement. Zabuza, what I thought, that sword is a real Zanpakuto. Kakashi, and what's wrong with that Zanpakuto? Zabuza, don't you know what his name means? Kakashi, yes, Zanpakuto soul-cutting sword. Wait, don't tell me that. Zabuza, exactly, those swords are said to have been created by the Shinigami herself, making them have a soul which will adapt to that of the bearer. These swords are even 1,000 times better than the legendary 7 swords of Kirigakure. Kakashi didn't know what to say, since a student of his had a sword or Zanpakuto which was 1,000 times stronger than Kirigakure's. But he was soon brought out of his thoughts as he felt an evil energy coming from Naruto. Kakashi thought he was the Kyuubi, but when comparing it to the day of the attack, they had nothing to do with each other. But he was shocked when he saw Naruto turn around with a kind of terrifying half-mask and equally creepy eyes. Naruto, now I'll be serious, he said with a rather distorted deep voice. White Naruto, come on Naruto. Naruto thoughts. Yes, he then launched himself at great speed against the ANBU. Naruto, get ready. The ANBU couldn't react in time and received a cut on his shoulder, but nothing that wouldn't stop him from fighting. The ANBU quickly created an ice sword to try to combat the now orange-haired man. Naruto unceremoniously lunged again, only to be blocked by the ice sword. But he didn't stop. Instead, he continued throwing cuts, which shattered the ice sword and made the Umbu retreat. Until in a moment the ice sword gave up and broke into thousands of ice crystals. Taking advantage of that, Naruto launched a cut at the Umbu's mask, which hit him, but not in the way he expected, since Zabuza had managed to push the Umbu away, causing his mask to receive a cut which did not harm him. Naruto tried to cut Zabuza, but he with difficulty blocked the orange-haired man's Zanpakuto. The two stared at each other, but Naruto, upon hearing an object fall to the ground, looked at the Umbu, revealing that it was the boy he had met in the forest. Naruto, Haku? The aforementioned just looked at him with a sad smile. Haku, I'm no longer of use to Zabuza, so you can kill me. Naruto just looked at Zabuza, who just lowered his head a little. Naruto then stopped applying pressure to remove the sword from him, which surprised those present. Naruto, Zabuza, he said as he took off his mask and his voice returned to normal. The aforementioned only turned to look at Haku. Zabuza, Haku. Small pause. I no longer see you as a weapon, but as a son. So please stop acting like this. Every time I see you that way I feel guilty. The black-haired man could only start crying and then hug Zabuza, who reciprocated it. But someone spoke, catching everyone's attention. Wow, the great Zabuza defeated by some simple ninjas. He is pathetic. But who cares, he still wasn't going to pay you. These thugs cost me half your price, he said, showing a small army of mercenaries on his back. Zabuza, cat. Kakashi. The named one looked at the fog demon so that he could continue. Zabuza, I think we are no longer enemies. Kakashi, I think so. But I doubt that Potom was interrupted by an orange-haired man. Naruto, that little shit is the one who has the town in this condition, she said again with a distorted voice, but this time it was higher pitched. White Naruto, what are you doing? Naruto thoughts. You had told me that I would have to train the power of the hollow. Well, this is the best time. If he got out of control and attacked my companions, he charged you with stopping me. White Naruto, very well, count me in. Everyone watched as the mask created again, but this time Naruto's face reflected madness and bloodlust. Naruto, you can now consider yourselves dead, ha 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 ha, he said as he laughed like a maniac. After finishing his sentence, he began to murder every mercenary he encountered. Zabuza and Kakashi saw that at certain moments Naruto seemed to have control, since his attacks were not so aggressive, but it did not last long since in a few seconds he would return to that madness. The slaughter lasted a few minutes, leaving only Gato alive. White Naruto, it's time. He then made Naruto rip off his mask with one of his arms, causing him to fall to his knees. Naruto stood up from the ground in one breath to look at the slaughter he had made. Naruto thoughts, wow. It shows that I don't have the slightest control over the hollow. Cat, please child, don't kill me, I will give you what you want. Naruto, tell that to the villagers, he said, and then watched as the villagers arrived with Inari in command. Everything happens the same until they return to Tizuna's house. Zabuza, well, I appreciate you helping us, but we have to go back to help the resistance. Naruto, how about you come with me? So you could teach me how to handle large swords. Zabuza, and what would happen to the resistance? And I doubt that the Hokage will accept. Naruto, I know the Hokage, he's like my grandfather, so don't worry. And about resistance, don't think that it would be better to spend a season training and then go help. I think if I talk to the Hokage he could go with you to help. Zabuza, sounds good. What do you think, Haku? Haku, I think it is the best idea, since it will be better to be more prepared, and surely if the Hokage sends Konoha ninjas, an alliance will surely be formed. Zabuza, very good. I think we'll stay with you. Chapter 3. Kakashi's team along with Zabuza and Haku were heading towards Konoha. Sasuke, who was watching Naruto speak with Zabuza, could only glare at the half-blonde. I'm going to call Naruto blonde, even though he's actually half blonde and half orange. Zabuza, and how did you find Zangetsu? Naruto, I found Zangetsu in a cave. Zabuza, you've been very lucky, you know that, right? By the way, I like your new outfit. Seriously, the orange jumpsuit was horrible. Naruto looked to see that he still had Zangetsu in his released form, making him have the clothes of the Shinigami assistants. Naruto thoughts, Zangetsu, does it bother you that you behave in your released form? Zangetsu, no problem, Naruto. Besides, I am not the one who gets tired, that would be you, but having great spiritual pressure will not affect you much, until you reach a point where it is no longer a problem. Naruto thoughts, okay, it was to see if it didn't bother you or something. Zangetsu just nodded to cut the communication. Naruto, I guess so, since now that I think about it, that monkey was a bit flashy. Zabuza just nodded in approval. They continued walking like this until they reached the gates of Konoha, where they quickly let them pass, but not before asking Zabuza and his companion what they were doing here, which Kakashi explained. In the Hokage Tower, Hiruzen was signing papers like crazy, as he wanted to finish quickly to get out of his heavy work, but he was happy to hear the door open to make way for Team 7. Hiruzen, I'm glad you're here, that means the mission has been completed. Kakashi, yes, it has been a success. I also have to say that Zabuza and his companion Haku have accompanied us to join the village. The third just looked at the renegade fog ninjas in amazement. Hiruzen, very good, but you know that you will be under surveillance for a while, right? Zabuza, yes, we are informed of that. Hiruzen, very good, tomorrow you will have some tests to evaluate your rank. I'll wait for you at 10 at field number 8. Zabuza and Haku just nodded. Naruto, hello old man. Hiruzen turned to look at Naruto, who if it weren't for his eyes, was his hair, and because he was with Kakashi he wouldn't have received it. Risen, Naruto, what happened to you? Naruto, well, my changes are due to this Zanpakuto, he said, showing Zangetsu, which was soon snatched from the blonde's hands by a certain Umbu. Yugao, this is a real Zanpakuto? Zabuza, yes, and from what I see you must know his story, she said, looking at the purple-haired girl. Yugao, well, of course, every swordsman with a certain level and knowledge knows about these swords/Zanpakutos. Risen, please Umbu, could you tell me the history of those Zanpakutos, since it is strange for you to get that way? Yugao, these swords are called Zanpakutos, since those who carried them were Shinigami's assistants. That means they had to work with souls of their name. These swords are even stronger than the 7 legendary swords of Kirigakure combined, plus almost none have been seen. The Sandaime did not know what to say, since his grandson had a sword which was incredibly powerful, not to mention that it was related to the same Shinigami. Yugao, do you know the name of your Zanpakuto? Naruto, yes, his name is Zangetsu. But how do you know that Zanpakutos have names? Yugao, it's easy since Zanpakutos have a characteristic which is that they have a spirit, so I assumed it would have a name. Risen, well, Naruto, I think Kakashi knows everything he needs to, right? The blonde just nodded. Risen, good, then you can leave now. The team left the room without protest, leaving Kakashi, Zabuza, Haku, and the Sandaime alone. Naruto and his team were leaving the tower when the blonde spoke. Naruto, I hope you train well, since the exams are approaching. Sakura, what exams are you talking about? Naruto, haven't you seen ninjas from other villages within Konoha? He thought you were smarter. Sakura only got angry and then tried to hit Naruto, who dodged it easily. Naruto, well, I'm leaving, I hope I don't fail because of you. He said to leave, leaving Sakura and Sasuke quite angry at his comment. When the blonde arrived at his apartment, he sat in a lotus shape on the bed to start talking to Zangetsu. Naruto, Zangetsu, what case would you like me to pick up for you? Zangetsu, why are you asking me that? Naruto, Bruno, you are my sword, so I guess you have your tastes. I was thinking about mixing our tastes to choose a good cover. Zangetsu, you are the first to take my decisions into account. That makes me happy to know that I have a carrier who does not see us as a weapon. But don't worry about the cover, I already have one. Immediately afterwards, the Zanpakuto began to be wrapped in bandages. Naruto, I think I like this style. Zangetsu, I'm glad you like it. By the way, tomorrow we will start your training. Every morning after training with your team you will enter the Zanpakuto to train with us, since when you are present time is slower than in the real world. Naruto, that sounds good to me, although I think that in the afternoon I will go to train with Zabuza, since he will teach me different styles, which I will be able to merge with your own. Since I suppose there is a way to use it, right? Zangetsu, yes, but I think what you had was a very good idea. It never hurts to learn new things. The blonde just nodded. White Naruto, hello Naruto, you also trained with me to master the instincts of a hollow, so you will have a pretty tight schedule, haha. Naruto, I already knew that, but what else can I do other than walk around the village? White Naruto, yes, you're right, but putting that aside, I think it's about time you met a certain tenant. You don't believe? The blonde just sighed and then nodded. Naruto, yes, I think it's about time, he said, to drop the sword and begin to meditate. In a few moments the blonde found himself in a sewer, which led to a large room with a large grate with the letters for a seal. Kyubi, it seems that my jailer is finally coming to visit me. Naruto, I think jailer is not the correct term. But well, leaving that aside, I have come to get to know you a little, and of course to ask you some questions. The great fox could only be amazed, since any Jinchuriki would only come to ask for power. Naruto, first I would like to ask you why you attacked the village. The Kyubi only looked at him to begin to explain what happened, since who was his father, and that he was controlled by the masked man. Naruto, well, I already knew about my parents, but that masked man seems like he's going to cause a lot of problems. Kyubi, I agree with you, but how did you suppose about your parents? Naruto, it's obvious, blonde hair, blue eyes, you sealed in me, and the old man didn't want to tell me who my parents were. Kyubi, And you don't have a grudge against the third party? Naruto, not at all, it's normal, since my parents had many enemies. Kyuubi, it's strange before you were dumber. Naruto, I'm not going to deny it to you, but since I acquired my Zanpakuto I have changed. Kyuubi, wait, did you say Zanpakuto? Don't tell me that sword is a Zanpakuto. Naruto, I guess you know the story, and if it's a Zanpakuto. Her name is Zangetsu. Well, I think it's time to go since tomorrow I have to get up early to train, he said to begin to leave. Naruto, I hope you like it. The fox only got confused and then saw how the environment changed to a meadow with a lake in the center. The fence was no longer there, as it had been replaced by a collar. Naruto, I'm sorry about the necklace, but it's the only way to keep it from getting in your way too much. The fox just nodded, watching as Naruto began to disappear. Naruto, I hope that the next time we meet you tell me your name, since Kyuubi hasn't convinced me that it's your name. The fox would only have his eyes to see how the blonde finally disappeared. Kyuubi, this boy is very interesting. I hope to see you again soon, boy, he said to go to sleep. Naruto had left his mental space and then gone to sleep. The next day the blonde woke up to have breakfast, but seeing that he only had ramen, which was the culprit for his previous height, he decided to go eat a little healthier, taking advantage of his new appearance. So he left his apartment to buy healthier foods, which was easy for him since no one recognized him. Thus a week passed, where the blonde followed the same routine, in which he had already learned to better handle Zangetsu along with Shuinpa. However, with his hollow powers it was something else, since he could only control half a mask. I say half a mask since I wouldn't know how to explain how far his control goes. But his powers were not the only ones that had improved, but also the friendship he had with his companions. Only with Kyuubi it was more complicated, since he was still antisocial and all he wanted was to sleep. Now Naruto was ahead of Kakashi, who had just given them the registration to enter the exams. Naruto, well, I'm done, so I'll say goodbye. He then disappeared in a Shuinpa, leaving Toto and the team amazed. Kakashi thoughts, what was that? Sensei's technique cannot be, since he is leaving a yellow trail. Instead, Naruto simply disappeared in a burst of speed. Kakashi, well, guys, I'll leave you since I have to talk to the Hokage. I wish you luck in your exams, he said to disappear in a Shunshin. Naruto. He was walking through the village when he suddenly saw a square box following him. Naruto, guys, come out now. Suddenly what was supposed to be a rock burst into smoke. Konohamaru, it's incredible, boss, you discovered us in a second. By the way, I really like your clothing signature. It took us a long time to find you. If it weren't for Grandpa who told us about your new appearance we wouldn't find you. Naruto, well, here they are, so. What do you want? Konohamaru, we would like you to train us. Naruto, there is Bien, but it will be another day, since I will soon have an exam to advance in rank. The children just nodded and then said goodbye and ran away. Chapter 4. Seeing how Konohamaru and his friends were leaving, Naruto decided to continue on his way, but soon he ran into a certain pink-haired girl, who greeted him. Naruto, hello Sakura, what are you doing here? Sakura, nothing special, I was heading towards Ino's flower shop to talk a little. Naruto, okay, see you later, he said to start leaving until he heard someone scream. The blonde quickly jumped to a nearby roof and began to jump until he reached the place where the screams were coming from. When he landed on the ground, he could see how a man dressed in black and with makeup on his face was grabbing Konohamaru. Naruto, I think it's not in your best interest to attack that child. Kankuro, this boy needs a lesson. And besides, who you are. Naruto, you don't care who I am, rather who you have in your hands. Kankuro, what do you mean? He said, a little annoyed by the blonde's answer. Naruto, who you are holding is the grandson of the third Hokage. So why don't you let it go? Kankuro, knowing who the child was, quickly released him, since he knew very well that he could cause a lot of problems. Naruto, very well, and now? Why don't you go out? Suddenly a certain Uchiha appeared from one of the trees. Naruto, not you, the one above. He said so that a redhead appeared behind Sasuke, who was speechless as he did not notice him. Gaara, Kankuro, you're stupid. Kankuro, I'm sorry, Gaara, he said, clearly scared. Gaara, shut up or I'll kill you. Immediately afterwards she appeared next to Kankuro in a sand shunshin. Gaara, I'm interested in you, she said, referring to the blonde. He just looked at him, and immediately he left. On the day of the exams, Naruto had already arrived at the agreed place and prepared to wait. He didn't have to wait long and his companions arrived a few minutes later. Naruto, you are ready. Sasuke and Sakura nodded in affirmation, thus entering the building. As they went up they noticed that there were chounins blocking a door, which was supposed to be the one for the exams. Naruto prepared to continue but stopped short when he heard something. Sasuke, you can get rid of that pathetic illusion now, he said very arrogantly. Naruto, thanks genius, now we will have more competition, he said to keep walking. Everything would happen here as in the original story until they entered the room. Upon entering Naruto I can see how there were quite a few participants. I could even see the brothers from the other day. Naruto thoughts. I think this test is going to give me a lot of headaches. White Naruto, I think so, but look on the bright side. You will be able to train in real combat. Naruto thoughts. I guess you're right. He was going to continue talking until someone took his mind off of him. Kiba, hey Naruto, yes you have changed. When Sakura told us we didn't believe it, but now that I see you I have to say the opposite. Naruto, I assume everyone knows about my change, right? Shino, exactly, since Sakura told Ino and the rest I suppose you already know. Naruto, yes. This is how the other rookies arrived, who did not stop asking the blonde questions about his change. Until a certain spy arrived. Kabuto, don't you think you're making a lot of noise? Sasuke, and who are you? Kabuto, my name is Kabuto, and you could say that I am a veteran in these exams. I've done them 7 times counting. Kiba, that means you are very bad, haha. Kabuto, no, the exams are very difficult, you'll see, but thanks to repeating the exam many times I have been able to collect information. Everything would be the same here until Sasuke just heard the information. Kiba, hey, could you tell me about Naruto? I want to see if his change is just aesthetic or something more. Kabuto, very well, let's see. He is on Team Kakashi. He has completed the same missions as Sasuke and his statistics are not very well known after the change, but there is one which has changed. Kiba, which one would it be? Kabuto, that was Kenjutsu, which since he acquired that Zanpakuto his skills have increased drastically, not to mention that they increase more when he uses a mask, which I don't know what it is. He said to show Naruto with half a mask. Shino, and to what point can you raise your skills with the mask? Kabuto, I don't know that, what I do know is that with it he was able to defeat Zabuza's assistant, who had a medium Chunin level. Also when she defeated him she was able to massacre a mini army of bandits without taking any damage. Everyone in the room stared at the blonde, who didn't even flinch. Before they could continue the test instructor appeared in a puff of smoke. Here it is like the original story only that Naruto answers the questions thanks to Zangetsu, and does not make his speech. Enko, very well, dwarfs, I will see you in the Forest of Death in 45 minutes, if you do not arrive on time you will be disqualified, she said to disappear in a ball of smoke. 45 minutes later. All the participants were already at the gates of the forest, after having explained to them what it consisted of and the rules. When the doors opened all the teams rushed into the depths of the forest, thus beginning the exam. Naruto was jumping from branch to branch like his team, and they continued like this for a while until suddenly a gust of wind forced them to hold on to what they could. Naruto, being quick, used Shunpa to get out of the range of the attack. When it stopped, a woman could be seen at the top of a branch. Naruto, being smart, stayed hidden to see the rival's level. After a few minutes of combat, it was revealed that it was Orochimaru, who used the woman's skin to cover his identity. But when Sasuke went to give him the scroll someone stopped him. That someone was Naruto, who had caught the scroll out of the air. Naruto, Sasuke, you disappoint me. I believe that an elite Uchiha would not lower himself to anything or anyone. The blonde said with mockery in his voice, which caused the Uchiha to get upset with him. Orochimaru, Naruto-kun, you haven't been taught not to intervene in other people's affairs. Naruto, regarding the scroll, it's also my business, and I doubt that if you kept it you would leave, right? Orochimaru just smiled petulantly. Orochimaru, indeed, but since you're in the way you'll take a few hits. Naruto, let's see if it's true. He said to launch himself with a downward slash towards Orochimaru, who only jumped to see how the blonde sword split the branch he was on. Orochimaru, wow, I didn't expect you to have that power, but it won't combine things much. Naruto, we'll see about that. Thus he launched himself again against Orochimaru, who took out Kusanagi to block the blonde's attack. Thus they began a Kenjutsu battle, where it seemed that they were evenly matched until Orochimaru kicked Naruto, sending him crashing into a tree. Naruto, I expected nothing less from one of the three legendary Sannin. But I don't know this is over yet. He said so that the hollow mask would be created up to half. Naruto hollow 1/2, we start again. The blonde then threw a red and black Getsuga Tensou at the snake Sannin. Orochimaru, being stunned by the blonde's change, could not dodge it, causing the Getsuga Tensou to cut the Sennin's arm. Orochimaru, damn, you are going to pay me for this. Immediately after, 2 hands came out of the Sannin's mouth, which opened like the mouth of a snake to reveal a new Orochimaru but without any damage. Orochimaru, you've caught me off guard, but there won't be a second time. Orochimaru saw how the blonde lunged at him with a vertical slash, which was stopped by Kusanagi. The blonde, acting quickly, turned around to try to cut the Sannin at the waist. But Orochimaru blocked it again, causing a wave of air to shoot towards the opposite side of where the swords were, taking some trees with it. Naruto withdrew his sword to launch a slash again, which was again blocked. Suddenly the two disappeared in a blur of speed. Sasuke tried to see something with his Sharingan, but it was useless, until the distinctive noise of 2 swords colliding was heard. Jiraiya quickly saw Orochimaru and Naruto collide swords for a few seconds, and then disappeared again. They continued like this for a few minutes until they stopped. At one end was Orochimaru with a few cuts which were not important. On the other hand, Naruto had more cuts and looked pretty bad. Naruto Hollow 1, hey Kyuubi, why are you so slow in healing me? Kyuubi, it's because that sword has poison, and if I don't extract it you will die. But it is difficult for me to extract it when I am teaching you at the same time. Naruto Hollow 1, okay, focus on the poison, we'll mention the wounds later. Kyuubi, alright, just don't die. Naruto Hollow 1, ha ha ha, now you care about me? Kyuubi, I've always done it, just because if you die so will I. Now focus on combat, she said to cut off the communication. Naruto Hollow 1, let's end this. Orochimaru. The Sannin watched as the blonde prepared to launch a Getsuga Tensou, but this time it looked like he would go 100%. Orochimaru, very good child, he said to launch himself at the blonde. When Naruto launched his attack, Orochimaru suddenly opened his eyes and then dodged the attack and then cut Naruto in the chest, who fell to the ground while the mask broke. Orochimaru, I didn't expect that technique to be so powerful, he said as he looked at a large strip next to many trees split in half by the attack. Orochimaru, surely if I didn't dodge it would have left me very bad. If the speed of the attack improved it would surely be something to fear. He then turned to a certain Uchiha, who was apparently shocked. Orochimaru, taking advantage of him, stretched his neck to put the cursed mark on the jet. Sasuke, feeling the pain, could only faint and then fall to the ground. Instead Orochimaru just disappeared in a ball of smoke. Sakura right now the only thing she had in mind was finding a place to stay and take care of her classmates. After a few minutes he found a tree, which was empty inside, then he took one by one inside the tree to start healing them as best he could. Chapter 5. Sakura was sitting waiting for her 2 teammates to wake up, only they didn't. Sakura, I'd better look for some food, he said to leave, but then 3 ninjas appear out of nowhere. Dosu, we're coming for the Uchiha, so get out of the way. Sakura, I won't let you do anything to Sasuke, and so everything would happen normally until the appearance of a certain Uchiha and his attempt to tear off Sokka's forearms. Naruto, wow, what happened here? I fall asleep for a few minutes and there are already problems. Sakura, Naruto, you finally wake up. The blonde just turned his head a little in a way that didn't understand. Naruto, what are you talking about? I only slept for a few minutes. Sasuke, Naruto fights me, he said with a sinister smile. Naruto, why should I do it? The Uchiha didn't give an answer, instead deciding to attack Naruto, which was hit and sent crashing into a tree. Sasuke, this power is incredible. I just defeated Naruto, now I am closer to my revenge. Naruto Hollow, what are you talking about, little Uchiha? All the teams watched as the mask formed until it was halfway across his face. Naruto Hollow, too bad I can't kill you. But hey, at least you can serve as a test dummy, he said to disappear and reappear behind the Uchiha, hitting him in the neck with the handle, who fell unconscious. Naruto, wow, not a single hit. This is truly a disappointment. He then picked up the Uchiha and looked at Sakura, who began to follow the blonde as he began to run towards the tower. The teams that were there were surprised and decided to do the same as the blonde. Sometime later, Naruto and his team arrived at the tower where the same thing happens as in the original story until it is the blonde's turn to fight. Kiba, come on Naruto, I'll retire. You won't be able to beat me. Naruto, have you forgotten what the Four Eyes told you? Well, it doesn't matter, I'll remind you in a moment, he said, taking out his Zanpakuto and putting himself on guard. Kiba, now we'll see, he said to launch the attack, being dodged and countered by the blonde, who had not moved from his place. At that, Kiba threw some smoke bombs and then made the Fong on Fong. Kurenai, I'm sorry for your student Kakashi, but I doubt he can handle that technique. Kakashi, you watch and you will see Kurenai, she said matter-of-factly. At that statement, the Jounin only looked at the battlefield to see the blonde blocking Kiba's attack with his sword. Naruto, that's all? What a disappointment, he said to push Kiba away and give him a cut which left the Inuzuka seriously injured. Kiba, damn, she hissed at the pain of the cut. Naruto, give up, you have nothing to do, I don't like harming people from my own village, he said, watching Kiba's dog eat a pill and grow bigger with red fur. Kiba, never, he said to get on all fours and his dog on top of him, taking on Kiba's form. Kiba, now Getsuga. Naming his technique, he launched himself towards the blonde who only placed his sword vertically to name his attack. Naruto, Getsuga Tenso. He said so that the two techniques collided. Only Naruto's defeated Kiba and slammed him against the wall, leaving him unconscious and with a large cut on his chest. So Naruto began to climb the stairs, leaving Kiba on the ground. This is how everything happened, the same as in the canon. I know I use this a lot, but I doubt you want to read what you already know. Naruto was already in the village talking to Zangetsu, but he soon stopped talking when he saw an old man with white, spiky hair spying in the hot springs. Naruto, hey old man, what are you doing? Jiraiya, I'm doing my research, brat. Naruto, that's unfortunate. Girls, there is an old man who is spying on you, he shouted, seeing how all the women came out, seeing the Sannin, who turned pale. Jiraiya, damn kid, those were his last words, since when he finished the women attacked him, leaving him in a deplorable state in a few minutes. Naruto, well now who the buck are you? He said with a grim face. Jiraiya, you don't know about me, well it doesn't matter. My name is Jiraiya, one of the 3 legendary Sannin, more precisely the wise man of the toads, he said, doing the typical pose of him next to a toad. Naruto thoughts, if this man is who he says he is, he could help me a lot. Naruto, so you are one of the 3 Sannin. You interest me. What do you want in exchange for you training me? Jiraiya, well I doubt you can give it to me, but nothing is lost by trying. What I want is a beautiful, well-endowed girl to help me in my research for my book. Naruto, I hate to say this, but I have a technique which is perfect. He said to do the Hexi Jutsu, triggering the same reaction as in canon. In the end, Jiraiya agreed to train him, leaving for the next day. The next day, Naruto was with a certain perverted Sennin in a training field. Jiraiya, very well, I will teach you the summoning technique, since from what the Hokage has told me you have good control over your chakra, even though you almost never use it. Well, these are the hand poses, she said to show him step by step the seals. Jiraiya, good, now you do it. Doing it without any contract will take you to the world of summons, in this case, which would be your invitation if you pass the test. Naruto just nodded to perform the technique and disappear. Suddenly a mini explosion of smoke was seen from where Naruto came out, which from what he could see was inside somewhere. So you are the wielder of Zangetsu. Naruto, and who are you? And how do you know the name of my Zanpakuto? He said, looking at a woman sitting on a throne. I am a Shinigami, and I know what your Zanpakuto is called since I knew her. Naruto, shit, and I didn't want to get involved with the Shinigami assistants and you, now I appear before you. No offense, I just didn't want to get involved in this world, you know, he said normally. Shinigami, no problem. But now you are before me, and what didn't you want to get involved in? Naruto, you know, extracting souls and all that, he said, still with impressive normality and calmness. Shinigami, so don't worry, since you're the first person to talk to me normally, that's made me like you, so you won't have to do anything, since there are many helpers. Naruto, thank you, Allegra said. White Naruto, I'm surprised that it doesn't cause you any emotion when you're in front of Shinigami, you might know the reason. Naruto, no reason. She was scared shitless, except that because of the terror I felt I couldn't move, just by talking. I've had such a shock that I can't even believe it, he said with a pale face and trembling like custard in his subconscious. Shinigami, well, since you're here I'll explain everything to you. Right now they are in the Tsurugi, where all my helpers live. Doing the summoning jutsu without having any brought you here since you have a great affinity with this world thanks to Zangetsu. But being that way will allow you to summon my assistants to help you. Of course, those who have a high rank will have their strength reduced for 2 reasons. 1. Your own power. You will not be able to summon someone who has a strength much greater than the Tula. 2. All high-ranking ones when passing into the human world have a certain limit based on their powers, since if they release too much they could cause a lot of problems in the form of damage. And that would be it. Now you can go see the facilities. And don't worry about the time, it goes much slower here. I'll call someone to guide you, she said, then smiled and appeared behind Naruto. Shinigami, or if you want, you better stay with me, that's your decision. Naruto, I better go see the facilities, you know. I have to see the place first, he said with clear nerves. Shinigami, very good, I think the guide has arrived, he said, watching as a person walked through the door. That person was a woman with dark skin and purple hair along with golden eyes. He was wearing a black shirt with a kind of orange hoodless sweatshirt. I don't know what that press is called, it's very strange. His pants were black tights along with white shoes. On his ankles he had a kind of white protection that reached a little below his knees. She also had shoulder pads the same color as the one on her ankles. Shinigami, I present to you, this is Orochi. Orochi, this is Naruto. Naruto, hello, he said half-heartedly while looking at the purple-haired girl, making the Shinigami smile. Orochi, hello, I will be your guide. I hope we get along well, come on, he said as he began to walk towards the exit. White Naruto, I hope you don't become a princess, because I swear I won't talk to you in my life. Naruto, what do you mean? White Naruto, before when Shinigami proposed to stay with her, who was so idiotic to refuse. Naruto, what do you want? I was still with a lot of emotions. Let me live. White Naruto, whatever you say, but then don't say I didn't warn you, he said, watching as the blonde began to walk towards the exit. Shinigami thoughts, I think this boy is going to make my days more fun, and who knows, maybe something else, he said to return to his seat. Chapter 6. As Naruto left the building he could see a large city within the walls. The environment was better than Konoha. Orochi, surprised? Naruto, the truth is yes. He had never seen a city this quiet and with such a good atmosphere. Orochi, you're probably right. It's been a while since I've been out in the human world. But well, let's continue, he said to walk next to the blonde. They walked for a few minutes until they went down the stairs. Hirochi, very good. From now on there are different territories which have their captains, who with their squad reside in their territory, so to speak. We do it this way since there are 12 captains, each one with its rules. So we divide them into territories so that each one has their rules established in their territory. You understand? Naruto, yes, and I guess those captains are strong, right? Hirochi, exactly. I was previously the captain of the second squad. Now I have left the position to Soifun. Naruto, so you were one of the captains. How much do I, and what do you do? Hirochi, well, typical. Paperwork, meetings and stuff. Of course we also go on missions, they're just usually of higher rank. Naruto, so at first it sounds boring. Hirochi, the truth. When you get used to it, it no longer feels tiresome, more like a routine. But hey, we've arrived. He said to stand in front of a building and knock on the door. Upon receiving permission, he entered with the blonde so that he could see a man. He was a man who was 2 meters tall, and had spiked hair with bells at the end. He had an eye patch along with a man-and smile. His clothes were like most of the others, only he wore a white outfit on top. Hirochi, I introduce you to the captain of the 11th Squadron. Kenpachi Zaraki. Kenpachi, Hirochi, who is this child? He is strong? Can I fight him? Hirochi, the questions one at a time. This is Naruto. He encountered his Zanpakuto and is now part of ours, having arrived here since he did the summoning jutsu without having a contract. Making him come here. And I don't know if he's strong, but I doubt he can fight you now. Kenpachi, what a shame. I guess you're showing him around the place now, right? Hirochi, yes, although the trip will be a bit long, since I have to introduce him to the other captains. Kenpachi, I understand. Good luck with that. By the way, kid, you better get strong. Because if we confront each other, do not doubt that it will be to death, ha ha ha. Naruto thoughts. Why does there always have to be a crazy person in every place I visit? In Konoha it was Mizuki and many more. I don't know if it's written like that, but oh well. In the country of waves I met Zabuza and Gato. Of course Zabuza has changed. And finally the Suriidii with Kenpachi. I'm a sucker for these things. He said, then looked at Hirochi. Hirochi, well, you have already met. So it's time to go introduce yourself to the others. He said to leave with the blonde who said goodbye to Kenpachi. Thus a few hours passed where he met the rest of the captains, which accepted the blonde without any problem. Once everyone was introduced, he returned with Shinigami. By the way, Aizen won't happen here. So there are no new ones. Captains or anything. Everything as is. Naruto, we're here, Shinigami. Shinigami, wow, I thought it would take longer. Hirochi, well, introductions bore me, everyone else just met. What do you want them to do? Shinigami, there you have a point. But well, leaving that aside, it's time to explain what you can do with our invitation. The first thing is that you can invoke me without any repercussions, which would be death. The second would be that you can summon any helper of mine. Of course, the powers of the captains will be reduced, since if they go too far it could cause a lot of problems. And finally, you can come to this place whenever you want. Here an hour is equivalent to 5 minutes in the real world. Naruto, I understand. So I will be able to come here to train. Of course, if it's not too much trouble. Shinigami, not at all, I even like it. She said as he reappeared behind the blonde as she hugged him. Shinigami, apart from that you have to train as my assistant. Since you have entered this world, now you have to follow the rules. Of course I can make an exception if you meet a challenge. Naruto, and what would that challenge be? He said with conviction, which vanished when he heard the challenge. Shinigami, you have to win a fight against Kenpachi. Naruto, with that crazy guy. He's going to kill me. Shinigami, come on, I'm sure you can. White Naruto, give him eggs. Naruto, you know that if I die you fall too, right? White Naruto, so yes. I take back what I said. I'm sorry, but you'll have to work. Naruto, shit, I don't want to work. Shinigami, ha ha ha, I was kidding. You won't work. At least you show that you have a brain, Well, it's time for you to come back. Yurochi, Shinigami, could I go with him? Shinigami, and why do you want to go with him? Yurochi, it's been a while since I've been out in the human world. It would also be nice to get out of the Suriidai a bit. Shinigami, okay. But don't draw too much attention to yourself. Yurochi, yes. Shinigami, by the way, don't be scared, just don't be scared and observe first. Yurochi only got confused, and then before she could ask, she disappeared next to the blonde. When they reappeared, they were surprised to find that they were not in the human world. Morbihan were in a black and white world with a sandy ground and a large building ahead. Yurochi, why are we here? Naruto, what's wrong with this place? Yurochi, this is the Hollow World. It is where hollows, Arankars, and more beings live. Just then a man with short, blue hair appeared in front of them. He is a man, he had an athletic and muscular build, his eyes are the same color, only with certain feline features, which are accentuated by some marks on these greenish blue. On his right jaw he wore a mask of a skeletal piece of the jaw. His clothes were like those of Shinigami assistants. Only he was white, and the top part of him was changed to a short jacket that left his chest and abdomen, which had a hole, exposed. Grimmjow. Hello, my name is Grimmjow, and I will take you to the king of the Hollow World. Yurochi, any reason not to distrust you? Grimmjow, well, my king wants to see you, and secondly, if he wanted to, he would have attacked you by now. Don't you think? Naruto just nodded to follow the blue-haired boy, followed by Yurochi, who was a little tense. After a few minutes they arrived at the building, which they entered to reach the king's room. Grimmjow, meet the king of Hollow World, Baragon. He said to open the doors and reveal a skeleton with jewels and a strange clothing. Baragon, you're wondering what you're doing here, right? Well, that is due to the summoning contract. Being part hollow, you should have come with me. But since you also have the power of the Shinigami assistants, you should go with her. So we decided that you would be part of both, with you being the next successor to the two thrones. Yurochi, when that happened, Shinigami didn't tell us anything. Baragon, seriously. This woman will never change. He must have told you something about it. It is always so. Yurochi, when you told me not to be scared, did you mean this? Baragon, you see it as it would give you some clue. Always does the same. One of these days the joke will end badly. While the two were talking, Naruto stood aside watching the conversation. Grimmjow, hey, how about we leave the bony guy talking and I'll introduce you to the others? Naruto, okay, I hope they don't get mad. Grimmjow, I don't doubt it. Come on, he said to leave next to the blonde. After a few hours they returned to find Yurochi and Baragon waiting for them. Yurochi, it's about time. It's time to go. Naruto, okay. Baragon, by the way, the advantages of having us as a summon are almost the same as those of Shinigami, only some things change that I will explain to you. Naruto, okay, but if I want to summon a certain person, how do I do it? Baragon, you just have to think about her while you make the stamps. The blonde just nodded to disappear. Human world. There was Jiraiya waiting patiently for the blonde, when a ball of smoke appeared to then show Naruto and Yurochi. Seeing the blonde, he quickly went to ask him about his summoning, making him point to Yurochi. Which I only greet. The wise man could only make a perverted face, which disappeared when he saw how Yurochi turned into a cat. Jiraiya, a cat boy. Very cute and all, but in battle, how can it help you? Naruto, in this. He said so that later the pervert will notice claws on his neck. Naruto, you could say it's like Kakashi's dogs. Only he is like a ninja, deadly, fast and stealthy. He is like an umbu. In truth, he is a human, only with the characteristic of turning into a cat and having very high taijutsu. She said, remembering what she told him when they were walking through the Suriidai. Jiraiya, I understand. Even though it is very rare. Naruto, yes, I wouldn't know how to explain it. Well, it's time to go, so see you. He said to start leaving. Only he stopped when he noticed that Yurochi climbed onto his head to lie down. Naruto, why do you put yourself in my head? Yurochi, it's comfortable and I don't feel like walking. Without taking much notice of it, the blonde continued walking and then arrived at his house to relax. Chapter 7. When the blonde arrived home, he left Yurochi in his bed, letting him sleep. He then went to shower and then went to sleep, but once he finished showering, he decided to meditate a little to go to his mental space. And so he did. Once he entered, he could see Kyubi lying on the grass. "Naruto, hello Kyubi," he said, greeting the fox who only opened one eye to see him. "Kyubi, what do you want?" "Naruto, nothing special, talk a little I guess. By the way, you already told me your name. I'm tired of calling you by your nickname or whatever that name is." "Kyubi, I won't tell you." "Naruto, come on, why not?" "Kyubi, you're not ready yet." "Naruto, ready for what?" The fox just looked at him and said nothing. "Naruto, I see. Your excuses are worse than the Cyclops." "Kyubi, whatever you say, seriously now, what you want?" "Naruto, well, I really didn't come for anything in particular, but since we're here, I'm going to ask you something. The sand boy, that Gaara guy. He's a Jinchuriki, right?" The fox just nodded. "Naruto, very good, could you tell me which one it is?" "Kyubi, it is Shikaku's Jinchuriki, the one with one tail." "Naruto, I understand. Do you know how to deal with him?" "Kyubi, not exactly. I know how to deal with Shikaku, but not with his container. I could help you in any way I can. But she didn't guarantee anything." "Naruto, well, okay, by the way, now that I have Yurochi in my house, how should I act? I have never had anyone at home, especially a woman." Kyubi, upon hearing that, opened both eyes and looked at the blonde. "Kyubi, and if you asked me, I don't know. Be nice and stuff." "Naruto, really? You have been inside the wife of the first Hokage, you have also been inside my mother. In all those years you have not learned anything? Kyubi, please can't you sleep in peace? I don't know, I've already told you, be nice, don't always be on top of her, give her space, knock before entering the bathroom or room." And they stayed like that for half an hour, which the fox spent telling him what to do and what not to do, until he finished. "Naruto, Ami, it seems to me that you haven't learned that in these years. What are you hiding from me, little fox?" he said as he narrowed his eyes at the fox, who remained silent until he decided to speak. "Kyubi, get out," she said curtly. "Naruto, oi, what a bad temper all of a sudden, right? I think I know what to do to test my theory," he said to smile. At that the fox looked at him even angrier. "Kyubi, if you don't leave now I'll tear your guts out." "Naruto, there are no eggs," he said, challenging the fox. At that, the two looked at each other fiercely until the inevitable happened. "White Naruto, ya Rajansila, what are you waiting for? To take a selfie?" At that the two stopped and looked up, which was where the voice came from. "Naruto, hey White, how can you communicate about the sword here?" "White Naruto, I don't know, I just tried it and it came out." At that the blonde left his mental space to go towards his room. "Kyubi, the door," she said, watching how the blonde was going to open the door. "Naruto, thank you," he said to knock on the door. To his relief, Yurochi told him to wait. So he had a narrow escape. After a few seconds the purple-haired girl let him pass. Just then the blonde walked in to see Yurochi completely naked, causing a few droplets of blood to come out of her nose. Thoughts: Naruto, damn Kyubi, you didn't say that knocking on the door would prevent me from this situation. "Kyubi, shut up and don't ever talk to me," she said, cutting the communication. "Naruto, what's wrong with you now?" Fox? Fox?" he said without having an answer. "Naruto, damn furball. What do I do now?" "White Naruto, why don't you buck her? I think she is willing?" "I don't know. It seems to me she naked and let you pass? And besides, she doesn't cover herself. What I say, pick it up and don't let it go all night." "Naruto, seriously? You only think about that. I need a solution, not ideas which can turn out good or bad." "White Naruto, and if it turns out well?" "Naruto, what if it goes wrong?" "White Naruto, well, screw you," he said simply. "Zangetsu, And why don't you ask her why she's naked? Naruto, thank you Zangetsu. I think you're the only one who has any common sense. Naruto, hey Orochi, why are you naked? He said while covering his nose a little. Orochi, I can't sleep with clothes on, I'm used to my cat form and it makes me uncomfortable. And now that I can take it off I'm going to do it. Naruto, I understand. And where will you sleep? There are no beds. Orochi, I'll sleep here. Why the question? Naruto, no way, I'm going to prepare the sofa. If you can call it that. Orochi, ha ha ha, you don't think you're going to sleep on the couch since it's your house, right? She said with a smile as she lay down on the bed. Naruto, and where do you want me to sleep? Orochi, it's clear, here, with me. I don't think there is any problem, right? Naruto just gulped and shook his head. Thoughts Naruto, shit, and now what do I do? Kyuubi helps. But unfortunately for him, no one answered him. Naruto, I shit all Kyuubi. He said to be dragged to bed to sleep. The next day he could see a happy Orochi while next to her was a half-asleep Naruto. The reason? Simple. He couldn't sleep almost at all. Orochi having gotten used to her cat form and their customs with you. For example, rubbing. Being asleep and having the blonde close to her body, she reacted on her own and began to rub against the blonde's body, causing him to not know what to do and remain awake. In the end, she couldn't sleep almost at all, and her condition began to deteriorate. Orochi, I see you feeling bad. Naruto, did you sleep well? Naruto, yes, I slept great. He said with a face of wanting to commit suicide. Orochi, I understand, then I don't know why you have that face. White Naruto, because he's useless, he said as he laughed. Naruto, you know he can't hear you, right? White Naruto, it doesn't matter, what matters is the intention. Naruto, well, I have to train for the final exams. So in the afternoon I'll have to go with the pervert. Orochi, and what if you come to the Suriidai in the mornings to train? Even though now that I think about it, it would be let's go to the Suriidai since, and so she continued talking to herself, being ignored by the blonde. Naruto, sounds like a good idea. But then I won't have much time to relax. Well, I guess that's a price that has to be paid. At that Orochi stopped talking to look at the blonde. Orochi, well? Naruto, okay, when are we leaving? At that the blonde and Orochi disappeared in a cloud of smoke to appear where the Shinigami was. Shinigami, are you here yet? Yes, you are fast, I guess you come to train, at least Naruto. Orochi, yes, since he has to train for some finals of I don't know what. And we have decided that in the morning he would train with us and in the afternoon with a pervert. Shinigami, a pervert? In case you want to do indecent things to us, she said appearing behind the blonde. Naruto thoughts, shit, what do I do now? White Naruto, tell him yes. Naruto, shit you can't answer. White Naruto, Killjoy. He said he went to who knows where. Zangetsu, I'm sorry but I can't help you. Naruto, damn, now what do I do? I know. He said to cut the communication and enter another with Kyuubi. Naruto, Kyuubi, are you there? But to his despair he received no response. Naruto, come on Fox, what the buck is wrong with you, I need you. But still he received no response. Naruto, damn, I have a feeling that what I'm going to do will affect me in the future. Kyuubi, if you help me, I will let you ask me for anything, of course just one. At that certain Fox decided to speak. Kyuubi, okay. What do you want? Naruto, what would you respond to a woman who has misunderstood what is really happening since a certain person has only said part of it, and now she has told me why she trained with a pervert in a seductive way? What I do? Kyuubi, is it Shinigami? Naruto S. Kyuubi, tell him it's to live up to it. Naruto, at the height of what? Kyuubi, your bucking mother, do you think my anger will go away so quickly? Buck off. Naruto, but why are you angry? Then silence formed again. Naruto, I'll shit everything when I see you, I'll make a coat with your skin, he said to get out of the conversation. At that he turned around to see no one. Shinigami, Wow, you're back. You were in a trance-like state for 5 minutes. Well, do you want to train now or do you prefer to do something else? She said as she sat on his throne. Naruto, no, I'd better train so I don't have to regret it later. Shinigami, very well, Orochi will take you to a place to train. After that you will go to train with the different captains. By the way, if you want to train your other powers, you can go to Hollow World whenever you want. You have free reign to do whatever you want in these 2 territories. Naruto, thank you Shinigami. Well Orochi, where do we have to go? Orochi, follow me. He said to go out with the blonde. After half an hour they were outside the Suriidai. Orochi, very good. Do you see this trapdoor? Naruto S. Orochi, very good, then that trapdoor will take us to a room that a friend of mine created. When you see it, I'll explain how it goes. At that, the 2 went down to see a huge room with artificial light and a rocky terrain. Chapter 8. Naruto was observing the place until Orochi started talking to him. Orochi, well? What would you like to train during this month? Naruto, well, I have an idea of what I want to do. It would be a mix between taijutsu and kengetsu. Using zangetsu but using my fists to have a double style, making it not leave melee behind and making my style more deadly. Orochi, it's not bad. How about doing this? In the morning you will practice with zangetsu to handle it better, and in the afternoon you will go with the old man to train taijutsu. If he can't get the most out of you, I will train you. Naruto, okay, but how will I train with zangetsu? I'll have to get into my headspace. Orochi, not exactly. My friend created a doll which allows the Zanpakuto, in this case zangetsu, to come out of the sword. This exercise or training serves to reach the 2nd level, which is called Bankai. How about we start? Thus they began training, where Naruto would have to find the correct sword, since all the others broke when swords collided with zangetsu. In his taijutsu training he varied, since there were times when the old pervert went to do his research and left him alone, so he also trained with Orochi, who sometimes also brought Soy Fan, who trained with the blonde. And finally, in his free time he would train with a Zabuza, which helped him a lot thanks to his great experience with handling large swords. Naruto had not wanted to go to Hollow World to train since there would be too many things, making him move slower instead of faster. So he would leave it for later. This is how the month passed, reaching the day of the finals. I know that I have cut a lot, but I doubt that you would be interested in reading a chapter on pure training. Although if you want I could do one. I say this more than anything because some people told me that I had made a lot of progress. We found ourselves in the Konoha Stadium, which was packed to capacity. In the Hokage's box was Airozen and the Kazekage. Airozen, well, Kazekage, who thinks he's going to win the final. Kazekage, I would like him to be my son, but everything remains to be seen. In the center of the stadium, we can see everyone who passed in line waiting for the Hokage to speak. At that the Hokage stood up saying his speech that no one cares about. Hokage, very good, it is time to start the first fight, which will be between Naruto Uzumaki versus Niji Hyuga. Thus all the participants went to the stands, leaving the 2 in the center of the field. Niji, you better leave Uzumaki. Fate has said that I will be the seller. Naruto, the only thing that fate has predicted is that you are an asshole. Destiny is not fulfilled, it is done through the effort that a person makes. Destiny is not written, but is waiting to be written by the person. He said to take Zangetsu out of his sheath. At that response Niji activated his Byakugan and got into a fighting pose. Judge, begin. I don't remember the name and I'm having trouble looking for it, sorry. At that the blonde moved at an incredible speed which was greater than Niji's eye could follow, making him lose sight of him. But he quickly dodged a thrust from the blonde who had appeared behind the Hyuga. Naruto, wow, it's true that your eyes have 360 degrees vision, but they can't seem to keep up with me. Come on, I'm not even warming up. Niji, don't make fun, Destiny has named me the winner, he said, trying to charge head-on at the blonde who quickly placed his sword vertically, and with the sharp part pointing at the Hyuga, who had to dodge the sword. Without wasting time Niji got into position. Niji, you are finished, 8 trigrams, 64 palms, he shouted, and then landed the first blow, which was deflected by the blonde's hand, which had left Zangetsu embedded in the ground, Niji, 2 palms, 4 palms, 8 palms, 16 palms, 32 palms, 64 flat, he yelled at the end to see how the blonde held his hand by the wrist. Naruto had deflected Niji's 64 palms as if he were the simplest thing in the world, leaving everyone with their mouths open, especially the members of the Hyuga clan. Naruto, you are trash, you are so obsessed that destiny is written that you yourself are destroying yours. I'm going to show you that destiny shit doesn't exist, he said as the hollow mask formed halfway up. Naruto hollow, let's start, he said to punch the Hyuga in the stomach, making him lean forward. Naruto, without waiting for him to recover, he turned 180 degrees to hit him with a kick to the head, causing him to turn around a little. Those present realized that this kick was not very strong, since it had hardly moved Niji. But they fell silent when they saw how a current of air caused by the impact shot towards a wall, causing it to destroy a part of it upon impact. Naruto hollow, come on, follow your destiny and beat me if you can. Combo of blows, let's go do it. Combo of blows, you do it, he said to do another combo of blows and then turn and grab his Zanpakuto, getting in position to make a horizontal slash. Niji, seeing that with the little strength he had left, did the first thing that came to mind. Niji, 8 palm trigrams of return to heaven, he said to start spinning, creating a dome of chakra. Naruto hollow, that won't help you, he said to carry out the attack on him. At that, everyone present stood watching as Niji stopped spinning. At that, Niji spit out blood and then a cut appeared on his chest, causing a large amount of blood to come out and then fall to the ground next to his ninja band, which had fallen from his head, revealing the mark of the caged bird. Niji stayed on the ground looking at the sky without knowing what to do. He had lost, the one whose destiny was already written. He stopped thinking when a large sword stabbed a few inches from his face. Naruto hollow, do you realize it yet? Destiny is not written, it is waiting to be written, idiot. And I'm going to show you, he said to eat his Zanpakuto, alerting everyone, but they were soon surprised to see how he turned the Zanpakuto, leaving the handle pointing at Niji's head. Naruto hollow, I have been practicing this technique and modifying it for this moment. This should never have existed, he said to hit the caged bird's seal with the handle, creating a large dome of light. After a few seconds he dissipated, revealing the two as if nothing had happened. Only with one difference. Niji no longer had the symbol on his forehead. Naruto hollow, consider it as a life lesson, he said to begin to retreat towards the stands, watching as the doctors took the Hyuga away. But before he entered the hallway, someone spoke. Hayashi, Naruto Uzumaki, what you just did is a very serious offense towards the Hyuga clan. This can cost you a lot. Naruto, you shut up, useless. You, the one who was a shitty father, the one who treated one of his daughters as useless just because he didn't want to hurt his clan. You have no right to talk to me. And I'll tell you what it might cost me. It won't cost me anything, since I have the consent of the daimyo, so you are the one who could be harmed. It's time to put some order in this shitty village. And for you shitty villagers, you'll soon regret doing what you did to me. He told him to leave the place in a shuinpa. The blonde's words left everyone with a mixture of fear on the part of the villagers and those of the Hyuga clan, but for others, like the people who did not treat the blonde badly, it made them think about the village, especially the old Hokage. Hiruzen, very good. The next fight will be between Uchiha Sasuke and Gaara. Everyone watched as the red-haired boy came down, but the Uchiha did not appear. Hiruzen, as I see that the young Uchiha is not present, he will be disqualified. That brought boos from most of the villagers who wanted to see their famous Uchiha fight, but another part did nothing since the blonde's words were still hanging around. Kazekage, don't you think Hokage is a bit harsh? People want to see Uchiha Sasuke. How about we leave it for last, and if he doesn't show up we eliminate him from the exams? Hiruzen, no, here everyone is equal to everyone else. No one has to be treated differently in these cases because of their status. I think the young Uzumaki has made it clear, this is what is killing the village. It's time to make changes, he said to name the next participants. Meanwhile, the blonde was in the fourth Hokage's head thinking, but he was taken out of these thoughts by arms that wrapped around his neck. Orochi, I think it affected you more than you expected, right? Naruto, I think so, but I can't help it. with everything I've suffered, and that someone who has had a bad time to a lesser extent than me saying that shit to me irritates me. But what has affected me the most was Hayashi. That walking shit doesn't deserve to live. Yurochi, I think so too, but what would your father and mother think? Not worth it. By the way, that daimyo thing is true. Naruto, no. I only said that to buy a little time and not get screwed. Shinigami, ha ha, always avoiding problems. Naruto, hee, I think that this month that we have been together they have gotten to know me quite well. He said, looking back and seeing most of the captains and swords smiling at him. Chapter 9. Naruto was on Mount Hokage with everyone else. Kenpachi, hey boy, there will soon be an invasion by the sand and the new village, right? He said, looking at a group of sand ninjas approaching the walls. Naruto, it seems so, why do you say that? Kenpachi, man, it's clear, to participate in this one, I would like to fight against those ninjas, although it is a shame that they don't give me a worthy fight. Toshiro, you're just thinking about fighting, right? Take it a little seriously, he said as he sat on the floor. Naruto, for me there is no problem, but since you are Shinigami's assistants you cannot kill humans, how will you do it? Shunsui, easy, with Shinigami's permission, if she gives it to us we can, so to speak, do whatever we want. And as you understand, we have already asked her, and she has left us. Naruto, okay, how about before doing something, we make a plan? Meanwhile at the stadium. The fighting had already ended, everything like the original story, until it was Naruto's turn. Hiruzen, the next fight will be between Naruto Uzumaki against Gaara, he said, watching as Gaara walked down calmly, but suddenly a whirlwind of hopefully appeared to reveal Kakashi next to Sasuke. Kakashi, I hope I'm not even late. I brought Sasuke. Hiruzen, I'm sorry Kakashi, but you're very late, your student has been disqualified, he said, looking seriously at the one-eyed man. Sasuke, how disqualified? I am an elite Uchiha, I deserve to take this exam. What is necessary to finish my revenge, he said angrily, for having lost the opportunity to acquire more power. Naruto, I'm sorry Mr. Amo, but your precious power will have to wait. Now it's my turn to fight, so get out of the arena. Upon hearing the blonde, Sasuke prepared to attack but was stopped by someone. Kakashi, Sasuke, leave it. Look on the bright side, you'll have more time for me to train you. Hearing that, Sasuke calmed down a little, but he was still bothered. Once they left the battlefield, the instructor began the fight. In the Hokage's box. Hiruzen, who do you think will win Kazekage Dano? He asked, looking at the two boys. Kazekage, well, from what I've seen, that child is very good. But my son too, so I think he will be very even, any distraction would be the end for one of us. Hiruzen was going to speak, but he heard an Umbu speak. Umbu, I'm sorry but they can't be here. Go to another place. At that the Hokage looked back to see a man with a devilish appearance and a woman with lilac hair. These were Kenpachi and Yurochi. Hiruzen, Umbu. Let them pass, especially the girl, he said as he looked at the woman with a drop of blood coming from his nose, which was quickly removed when the old man regained his composure as Hokage. Hiruzen, what do you want? He said, looking cautiously at the two individuals. Kenpachi, we will be your new escorts. Hiruzen, I have not been informed of a change of this type. Yurochi, that's clear, since Naruto was the one who sent us. Hiruzen, Naruto? At that, a certain white-haired man who was escorting spoke. Jiraiya, that's true old man, that woman is one of Naruto's invitations. Hiruzen, upon hearing that, looked at the white-haired man to see him with a face of hatred. Hiruzen, so it's one of his summons. But why are you like this, Jiraiya? At that, the white-haired man grabbed him by the tunic and began to speak. Jiraiya, think old man, a summon which is a cat girl, and like each summon there will be more to summon, in this case girls, who obey any order from the blonde. Any order, he said while moving his hands in front of him. Of the Hokage, who opened his eyes next to the Kazekage himself, who we already know who he is. The thought of those two was the same. Thoughts, damn lucky blonde. But everyone came out of his thoughts when they saw how the blonde, who had extended his arm, caused small red electrical discharges to come out of his body along with an aura in the form of vapor of the same color. Little by little the aura and the rays began to get bigger, until there came a moment in which there was an explosion of energy, which when it disappeared revealed a blonde without his top, revealing his muscles which had grown a little. The lightning had increased in quantity, and the aura in the form of vapor had grown. All this happens while the blonde stood in a combat pose. Hiruzen, what is that technique? It looks like the rakeage. Orochi, that is one of my techniques. I taught it to you during this month of training. It is based on accumulating energy in your arms and back, so that the upper part has already broken. But he managed to modify it to his liking. It is a mix of the original and yours. The original allows that if an opponent hits a part where the energy is accumulated, the user will not receive damage. But in this case it does something else, it enhances his speed and strength. There is an increase in muscle mass. This technique is called Shunko, he said looking at the blonde. I don't remember much about this technique since it's been a while since I watched Bleach. I think the original technique did that. If not, tell me. Kazekage, I understand, and I suppose it must be a somewhat high energy drain, right? Orochi, not really. The only consequence in your case is physical wear and tear, since the energy has to be accumulated throughout your body, straining them. But with your resistance, and at the level you are using it, it practically does not make you nothing. Back to combat. Naruto was looking at the redhead who was somewhat intimidated. Naruto, how about we start? I recommend that you go all out, otherwise I will finish you off quickly. He said to appear at an incredible speed behind Gaara, which he barely rode a cut. Seeing how his sand had not managed to arrive in time to defend him. Naruto, what's wrong? Can't your sand keep up with me? I asked, and then try a downward cut, which was dodged by the redhead by jumping back, and then attacking with his sand. But it was quite easy for the blonde to avoid it. A few minutes passed like this, where the blonde attacked without quarter, making the redhead only dodge and counter-attack, which didn't result in much. They would continue like this if it weren't for the fact that the blonde accidentally appeared behind the redhead to kick him in the head, sending him crashing to the ground, forming a screen of smoke. As it dissipated, Gaara could be seen on the ground with his sand armor crumbling, since his sand could not protect him from the fall. The redhead just stood up with a psychotic face. He even noticed something liquid in her mouth. When he touched it with his fingers and looked at it, he saw that it was blood. Gaara is my blood? She said as she opened her eyes and began to tremble. Naruto could only watch him cautiously until some feathers began to fall from the sky. Naruto, an illusion? He asked himself as he saw how people began to fall asleep. At that he quickly expelled a pulse of chakra to free himself from the illusion. When he looked at his opponent again, he saw how his brothers happily left Sasuke following them to fight Gaara. Naruto, without thinking twice, bolted towards the Uchiha, while in the Hokage's box. In this, an explosion had occurred after the pedophile snake there revealed her identity, making everyone climb to the roof of the building, where a barrier was formed when they landed. Orochimaru, look, old man. Today is my lucky day. You will be able to see how your beloved village falls, and then be killed along with your student. Hiruzen, Orochimaru, I was wrong about you. But today I will correct my mistakes by killing you, even with all my regret. Orochimaru, and what makes you think that? Hiruzen, you're at a disadvantage. It's you against 4, he said looking at Naruto's friends, who were also inside. Orochimaru, that's true, they make my plan change a little, but nothing special, he said while he did some hand poses. Orochimaru, I had a hard time getting some of the DNA. But I've done it, so let's make things even. Edo Tensei, the technique, shouted so that 6 coffins came out of the ground. In the first Hokage Hashirama appeared, in the second Hokage Tobirama appeared, in the third Mito Uzumaki, the wife of the first, appeared. The first 3 seemed normal as far as it is possible for them to receive someone. But the last 3, especially the last one, left Hiruzen and Hajiraya in shock. In the fourth Hokage, Minato Namikaze, appeared, along with the 5th, which was Uzumaki Kushina. That surprised them a lot, since the graves of these 2 were in a secret place. But the last coffin made him wonder what logic this had, since it was almost impossible to have DNA from this man. The sixth coffin was none other than Izuna Uchiha. It's already 6 impossible, but I wanted to put it, more than anything, to make it a 2 against 2. It probably doesn't work out for you, but you'll see what I mean. Hashirama, hey, what are we doing here? It seems like they received us with your technique, brother. I told you it was a bad idea. Tobirama, shut up now, she said to look at those present. Tobirama, so this was the 4th Hokage, he said, looking at Minato. Minato, that's right, I sacrificed myself to save the village. This is my wife Kushina. She said so that she is appearing behind this waving. Tobirama was going to speak but was brutally beaten by Uzumaki. Myth, I told you that shitty jutsu would get us into trouble, but no. The kid wanted to create his shitty king jutsu, he screamed angrily as he hit the senju without restraint, which only brewed with pain while he was nursing, making him want to die. Thoughts Iruzen, per teacher, the Edo Tensei don't feel pain, and for him to be screaming he has to hit very hard, he said, watching the beating of his former teacher. Meanwhile, a certain Uchiha was laughing at the senju's misfortune, but everything stopped when an explosion was heard, which came from the nearby forest, in which the raccoon had emerged from a tail. Shikaku. Kenpachi, ha ha ha, it looks like Naruto will have fun. Well, we will have fun too, he said, drawing everyone's attention, seeing how he smiled like a demon while taking the Zanpakuto out of him. Kushina, wait a minute, are you talking about Naruto Uzumaki? Orochi, you must be his mother, and he is blonde if father. I'm surprised that this village doesn't notice the resemblance to the 4th one. They are identical, only Naruto is more handsome, he said with a smile, causing doubts in the Uzumaki's parents. Kushina, hey Iruzen, what happened to our son? She said, somewhat worried about the latter. Iruzen, well, the village hasn't treated him very well, to say the least. He said he was nervous about the Uzumaki's response, who upon hearing that exploded in rage and attacked the old man without letting him speak. Minato, Jiraiya, why wasn't Naruto seen as a hero? Jiraiya, well, those on the council, blinded by anger, let themselves be influenced by Danzo's shit. So they spread the rumor that Naruto was the fox, causing him to suffer hell from the villagers. Minato, I expected more from this village. I am disappointed that I have sacrificed myself for people like this. But there is nothing to do now. Orochimaru, your reunions are very moving, but I'm out of patience. Attack. But before giving the order, a certain captain spoke. Kenpachi, Orochi, I'll take the Uchiha and the white-haired Senju. You take care of the redhead, and her husband take care of her, she said, looking at her rivals. Orochi, no problem, he said, to get into a battle pose with everyone else. Chapter 10. Naruto continued running after Gaara and Sasuke. The former's brothers had stayed behind fighting with the other genins who had been sold by their senseis. For Naruto everything was normal, an arrogant Uchiha who was going to annoy him a little and a half-crazy boy, nothing that the blonde can handle. But upon arriving at the battle he could see a terrified Sasuke in front of what looked like Gaara. And he looked like him since he was more of a sand raccoon than the red-haired boy. Naruto, Sasuke, what the buck have you done? He said, attracting the gaze of the two adversaries. One of them attacked the Uzumaki with sand shurikens, which were blocked by Naruto's Zanpakuto. Gaara, mother wants your blood, she said, in complete madness and insanity in her words. Naruto, well, tell him that if he wants it. At least he tried to take me on a date, maybe I would have given it to him, he said, bringing a drop of sweat to the Uchiha who had already gotten back up. Gaara did not pay attention to anything that was happening, so he brutally attacked the blonde, who defended himself and attacked with no difficulty. The blonde was trying to make cuts in the sand that surrounded Gaara's body, to see if it would help the redhead come back to his senses, since from what the fox had told him, if the boy falls unconscious, the Sukaku will be free. So the blonde was very careful not to knock him out, but as we all know, someone has to send everything to hell. And there was Sasuke. The black man, taking advantage of Gaara's oversight, decided to launch a fireball at his maximum power. The sand quickly protected the boy, but unfortunately the explosion was too large, causing the redhead to fall unconscious. Sasuke, Ha ha, that's it. He can't beat an elite Uchiha like me. Naruto, you will be incredible. Do you know what you just did? Sasuke, yes, defeat him, something you haven't been able to do, he said with arrogance, which disappeared upon hearing Naruto's words. Naruto, idiot, he is Sukaku's container, and if you look closely he has big circles under his eyes. That means he can't sleep. That's because when he sleeps, the Sukaku takes control of him and breaks free, he said, watching as a large accumulation of sand swirled around Gaara so that from an explosion of sand the Sukaku came out screaming like a madman. Sukaku, ha 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 ha, I'm free. Naruto, Sasuke, leave this area. I don't want any hassle, it's my way. Sasuke, what are you talking about? I'm an Uchiha. He couldn't finish as Naruto interrupted him. Naruto, yes, an elite Uchiha. That doesn't mean you have to do your duties as a ninja. And your job now is to help the village with the invaders. So go and help. I have the task of stopping this crazy man. They are direct orders. So you can't disobey, he said to watch as the Uchiha reluctantly nodded to leave. At that the blonde quickly climbed a tree to be as close to the raccoon as possible. Naruto, so you're the Sukaku, you don't seem very strong. That got the raccoon to focus his attention on the blonde. Sukaku, and who are you to insult me, child? Well, nothing happens, today I am happy since I am free, so I'll kill you, he said, throwing a punch towards the blonde. Naruto, we'll see, he said while he placed his Zanpakuto ready to stop the blow, which upon impact sent the blonde to the ground, but the raccoon arm continued on its way. So the blonde continued to apply pressure to stop the blow. In the end the fist hit the ground, creating a shock wave along with an immense screen of smoke. When the smoke cleared, Naruto could be seen still parrying the raccoon's blow, which did not give way. Naruto, your bucking mother, he will be one of the weakest, but his strength is commensurate with his size, he said under his breath. Naruto, thinking quickly, he turned his sword so that the sharp part was in Sukaku's fist, which he didn't seem to care about since it was made of sand. Using that to his advantage, he began to loosen sand from his fist to trap the blonde, which he already counted on, so in one quick movement he performed his technique. Naruto, Getsuga Tenzo. Meanwhile with the Uchiha, he was running as fast as he could to get to the village. But he stopped when he felt a great energy coming out of the place where Naruto was. When he turned around he could see how a blue crescent came out of Sukaku's fist until it came out of his shoulder. Sasuke stared in shock, to then open his eyes when he saw how the arm split in half. Sasuke, what was that? It's impossible for that useless guy to have that power. It should be mine to carry out my revenge, he said with hatred, which grew and grew with each passing day. Back with the blonde, he cut off the beast's arm and quickly jumped towards him at great speed. But when Sukaku saw that, he launched a horizontal punch, which the blonde tried to stop with his Zanpakuto, but the force was so much that it sent him flying until he crashed into the ground, which caused him to be dragged for about 100 meters by force. Meters carrying everything ahead with his body. When it stopped, it formed a small explosion and a screen of smoke from the impact. When the smoke dissipated, a mountain of stones and trees could be seen, which were pushed aside by Naruto, who emerged from his improvised grave with a couple of punches and a little in pain. He was grateful that he had time to put Zangetsu to rest. Cover up. Naruto, hey Kyuubi, any ideas to stop your crazy brother? Kyuubi, well, the only thing I can think of is that you reach his head and wake up the boy, although it won't be easy for you. Naruto, well, nothing is easy. So let's go there, he said to avoid a sweep the raccoon made with his tail. Naruto quickly activated the Shunko and launched himself at Sukaku again, who tried the same as before, but this time the blonde waited for him and managed to climb onto his arm. Once up he started running up. Sukaku, seeing that, began to create small hands on his arm to stop the blonde, which at first he only dodged easily. Then the problem started, and then he started blocking, until things got complicated and he had to start doing all of the above plus cutting off his arms. The only thing that could be seen was a blonde and red spot cutting and dodging the small arms that were an obstacle. In the end he managed to reach the shoulder, where he jumped to reach directly for the head. Sukaku quickly began to throw shurikens from his body to try to stop him, but the blonde managed to pass and then hit the head of the unconscious Gaara with a kick, who woke up to see the blonde still with his leg extended. "Naruto, see you below," he said to fall at high speed, followed from further away by a Gaara which fell from Sukaku's body, which was slowly crumbling. Upon reaching the ground, Naruto landed normally and then saw Gaara's body fall to the ground, leaving him motionless. Seeing Gaara, Naruto decided to approach slowly until a certain blonde stopped him. "Temari, I won't let you touch my brother," she said confidently, and then was supported by Kankuro. "Naruto, I have no intention of doing anything bad, I just want to talk to him and offer him something," he said as he kept his Zanpakuto in his bandages and placed it on his back. The Sand brothers let him pass but still kept an eye on the blonde. "Naruto, Gaara, why do you act this way? Is it because of the Sukaku?" Gaara could only nod in fear, not knowing what to do with the blonde. "Naruto, don't let him influence you, either him nor the village, since I know you have had a bad time. Everyone who has a burden like yours or mine is not treated badly by the villages. But look, you have your brothers who love you, so try to change and make friends." "Gaara, friends?" "Naruto, yes, friends, those you can trust. And I, as your new friend, offer you something, to free you from your burden." At that, Gaara was surprised by what the blonde said, but his brothers became upset. "Kankuro, hey, you can't do that, if you do he will die." "Naruto, don't worry, nothing will happen. I know how to do it without him dying, besides, the seal you have is for storing objects, not a buju, so you run even less risk." The brothers were still distrustful, but seeing the look that Gaara expressed forced them to at least try. Since Gaara for the first time had a spark of hope and joy. Naruto, seeing that, took his sword and hit Gaara's stomach with the hilt. When he removed it a little, a red aura began to come out in a calm and natural way towards the sword, which was surrounded by the Biju's chakra and then passed to the blonde. This lasted for a few minutes until the chakra stopped. "Naruto, that's it, you hear someone in your head." Gaara tried to listen to his supposed mother, but to surprise there was only silence. "Naruto, that's it, was a success. Without further ado, I'm leaving, I have to help the village," he said to say goodbye and leave in a burst of speed, leaving the brothers alone. Back with the Hokages. They were having a lot of problems, both Hiruzen and those received. Hiruzen was suffering the wrath of Uzumaki Kushina, which in itself had enormous resistance. Now add to that the Edo Tensei makes those received have infinite resistance. The poor old man was on his last legs. Jiraiya's part was a little better, not much, but he managed. Since fighting Minato is not an easy thing. Even so, he was also quite a lock. On the other hand, there was Kenpachi, who was like a rose, while Izuna and Tobirama wanted to return to the other world. In the words of these two, that man was a bucking demon. What a QB and what shit. This man was the devil in person. He was sweeping the floor with them, apart from the fact that he was wearing an eye patch, which from what he said he suppressed his power, leaving these two with doubts about whether he was from this planet. On the other hand, there was Yurochi, who was having fun with the first Hokage and Mido. The two were surprised. Very few fight the first Hokage and his wife, who was very angry, and that was more dangerous than Madara himself. They both had to admit that this girl was probably above the two of them, even knowing that they were not 100% on her. But everything stopped again when he saw how Sukaku's arm broke in half. "Hiruzen, what was that?" he asked, surprised to see the loss of Sukaku's arm. Few could hurt him like that. "Yurochi, it looks like Naruto is taking this seriously." Jiraiya, wait, are you saying that Naruto, a simple genin, can harm the Sukaku? I know he's strong and all, but I doubt he's at that level. Kenpachi, ha ha ha, it looks like you don't know the boy. That kid is the only one who gives me a fight, ha ha ha, even if he used all his power he would beat me. That left everyone with their eyes open, since that man was a dresser, and for him to say that he could beat him were difficult words to digest. At that point they saw various explosions and then saw how the Sukaku began to collapse. Yurochi, and that's how you end up with the Sukaku. Orochimaru, that blonde impresses me more and more. I regret not having put my curse seal on him instead of the Uchiha. Now let's talk and back to the fight, he said to try to command those received, but was interrupted by an explosion outside the barrier. Everyone looked at the place where the explosion came from to see a blonde with a huge sword hanging on his shoulder. His upper part was also missing, revealing his torso, which was well defined along with a few wounds. This was Naruto who had arrived at the place. Airazan Naruto? What are you doing here? Naruto, well, it's not obvious. I just finished off the Sukaku, and since I have plenty of time I've come to help you. Since from what I see Orochimaru has done his thing, he said looking around at the Edo Tensei, until he noticed two people. Naruto, and it seems that the son of a bitch likes to play with the dead, she said with hatred while her eyes changed to a yellow color with a black background. Kenpachi, I'm sorry for you pedophile snake. But reviving his parents wasn't your best idea, he said, watching the blonde advance towards the barrier. Orochimaru, hee, it seems like you're angry? I feel sorry for you. But this barrier is able to withstand. He couldn't finish as he watched as the blonde made a horizontal cut, which after a few seconds broke a part of the barrier into pieces. The blonde quickly jumped to where the others were to see how the barrier closed. Naruto, did you say something, scum? He said while a black and red aura surrounded him and the Shunko, which gave him a more frightening appearance, which gave chills to everyone present, including Tobirama and Hashirama himself. Orochi, Naruto, since he has revived your parents, why don't you show them what you are capable of? He said, watching as the blonde sighed and returned to normal. Naruto, you're right. There's nothing to get angry about. He just brought my parents back, so I can talk and see them a little, he said looking at Orochi. Naruto, very good, you can leave now. I'll take care of the rest, he said to take the sword from him and activate the Shunko. Kenpachi, haha, no problem for me, I've had enough fun, come on, old people, he said to Cyber the Hokage along with Jiraiya, who were fighting to get loose to help the boy. Orochi, calm down. As Kenpachi has already said, Naruto is at his level, even higher if he uses 100%, this will be nothing for him, he said to break the barrier again with a punch, leaving Naruto alone. Myth boy, get out of here before we kill you. So get out of. She couldn't finish that because she was interrupted by the blonde who was behind her. Naruto, you're slow to disappear, he said as he looked behind him to see the Uzumaki begin to disappear. Orochimaru, that's impossible, how you did it, he said with wide eyes. Both because of the speed and because of how he had made the myth disappear. Naruto, simple, the Edo Tensei only places the consciousness of the resurrected to occupy the space of the soul that has been sacrificed to bring it to this world. He said he sold the lifeless body of a sound ninja. Naruto, so I just sent the ninja's soul to the world of the dead. So consciousness, in this case of myth, not having a soul, returns to where it should be. In the world of the dead. Naruto, so since you've already seen what I'm capable of, attack with everything you have, he said getting into position. Chapter 11. Naruto quickly lunged at Tobirama, who blocked the blonde sword with his own. The two were exerting force against each other, until Naruto, in a quick movement, managed to move the second Hokage's sword a few centimeters, enough for him to stab the Senju in the chest, who was surprised. Naruto, it seems like it won't be easy, right? He said watching his thrust, which had apparently achieved his goal. It was a few millimeters to the left of where he wanted to hit. Tobirama, I don't know what you've tried with that boy, I guess doing the same as with myth, but with us it will be more complicated. At that, the Senju sees how Naruto, in a quick movement, draws his sword and places it above his head, thus managing to block a punch from Hashirama, which exerted more pressure. Seeing this, Naruto kicked Tobirama away, then let the younger Senju's fist brush past his head, ending up crashing into the ground, forcing the blonde to jump back to avoid the debris. Izuna quickly took out his sword to launch himself against the blonde, who was still in the air. Seeing that, Naruto decided to kick towards the ground, causing a wave of air, which made the blonde rise a few centimeters into the air. Izuna could only watch in slow motion as the boy passed over him while spinning around, and then, with his sword, impaled the Uchiha against the ground next to the blonde who was holding the sword. Naruto quickly released his Zanpakuto to block a punch from his mother, which he attempted to hit again with her other arm. But the blonde, being faster, managed to crouch down and then hit the Uzumaki's stomach, which was suspended in the air by the strong blow. Taking advantage of that, Naruto pulled his sword out of the ground and then launched a horizontal slash, cutting his mother in half. He immediately launched a kick backwards, which hit Minato's face, who was thrown until he crashed into the barrier. Seeing that, Naruto impaled the Uchiha again, who was already recovering. Unfortunately for him, he looked like a skewer again. Naruto, wow, these seconds of battle have been intense, don't you think, Mr. Uchiha? He asked Izuna, who was looking at him angrily along with his Sharingan. Izuna, it's not funny, she said with complete anger in her words. Tobirama, well, for me it does, well done boy, he said the second with a smile on his face. Izuna was going to speak until he was interrupted. Kushina, aren't you ashamed to cut your precious mother in half? That comment brought everyone present out of their shock caused by seeing the blonde sweep the floor with the Hokages, to be replaced by a large drop of sweat. Naruto, Mom, you are dead. Kushina, very good, putting your finger in the wound. It's not my fault that a man and a weak-minded fox killed me. Naruto, it's not my fault you were so stupid, the blonde said with red eyes, implying that the Kyuubi. Naruto, you shut up, fox, you have no voice in this meeting. Kyuubi, why not? They just named me. They continued like this for a few minutes until someone got upset. Orochimaru, I'm tired of your stupidity, kill him now, he said to make a hand seal, causing Hashirama to launch his jutsu. Hashirama, wood element, birth of trees. He said so that suddenly several branches came out of the ground. The more they advanced, the bigger they became. Kyuubi, seeing that the only thing that occurred to him was one thing. Passed the brown one to Naruto, who upon seeing what was approaching him could only scream and begin to dodge the branches in true Madara style with Gaara. But it was of little use to him, as the branches became trees, which managed to capture him. Naruto, damn, that's a good technique. But it still won't be enough, he said to activate the Shunko to 100%, managing to free himself. Upon landing on the ground, the stones began to rise, but everything stopped when the blonde calmed down. Airuzen, what have you done? He said, intrigued, looking at the blonde. Orochi, nothing special. He just got serious. Umbu, how serious? Wasn't it before? An Umbu who was defending the Hokage asked in confusion. Orochi, no, he was just testing the abilities of his adversaries, as they did with him. Why do you think he could stop everyone so easily? Naruto is strong, but in that state I doubt he can win. Airuzen, and with the Shunko? Could I win? He said, worried about the blonde, who was the only one who could open the barrier, and since he was inside they couldn't go help him. Kenpachi, with Shunko things will be even though the balance is a little in favor of the others. But calm down, old man. If he finds himself cornered he will use the hollow part of him, there they no longer have a chance. Airuzen, hollow part? What's that? Orochi, you'll see, he said to watch the fight again. Naruto quickly grabbed his Zanpakuto, thus allowing Izuna to move. The blonde was going to attack but had to block a cut from Tobirama. Naruto, without wasting time, jumped back and then attacked again, which was invited by the white-haired man, thus disappearing from the sight of several. The only thing that could be seen were the sparks from when swords clashed. Seeing that, Orochimaru decided to send Hashirama to help him. And he did that. When the two opponents appeared he launched himself with his fists raised towards Naruto. When he saw that, he sent Tobirama a little away to block his brother's attack with his Zanpakuto. But the blow was so strong that it sent him crawling to the wall of the barrier, thus colliding against it. Upon receiving the impact, the blonde could only move his head to come to his senses, since he had become a little disoriented. But when he raised his head he saw Hashirama with another fist ready next to his father with a Rasengan. Thoughts, Naruto, shit. It was the only thing he thought before blocking the attacks with his sword again, but this time, having a wall behind him, he couldn't get away. So now he had to beat Hashirama and his father in strength to be able to escape the attack. The blonde could only keep the Hokages at bay, but he was not gaining ground, nor were the Hokages. But Minato, having a free arm, decided to use it to hit his son in the face. which almost fell to the ground due to the blow, making the Kages now have the advantage. Seeing that, the blonde decided to exert even more force. So with a scream his aura flared up brutally, causing Naruto to throw off the two Kages. But they didn't give him a second to rest. Since the blonde had to dodge a fireball coming from Izuna, Naruto quickly jumped to then block a slash from his mother, who had drawn a sword. Thoughts Naruto, damn, at this rate I'll end up very tired. And at very bad times he died. Zangetsu, it's a shame there wasn't time for you to reach Bankai. But remember that you still have hollow powers. Naruto, I know. But you know what will happen next. Civil Council angry and scared. The blonde thought while he continued the fight with the resurrected ones. Those present could only see explosions, sparks and jutsus everywhere. But what surprised him was that the blonde kept them all at bay, even though it was clear that he was having a hard time. White Naruto, come on man, you know they can't touch you anymore. And even more so when you already know who your parents are. Naruto, it's true since. Even though I know it's still going to cause me problems. He said the last thing to see how a giant wave was approaching dangerously towards him. Seeing that, Naruto realized that he couldn't escape, since the possible exits were covered by the others. So he only had to cover himself. Everyone could see how the blonde was engulfed by the powerful technique, which had destroyed a large part of the roof of the building. The water was still quite cloudy, so no one could see anything. But suddenly Naruto jumped out of the water and then fell to the ground in front of the resurrected ones. Hiruzen, we have to go in there, they cannot do anything? Orochi, no, we can't. Besides, Naruto already has the advantage, he observes well. He said so that the old man looked at Naruto and saw that a kind of white mass was accumulating on his face. Don't think badly, bastards. Naruto, you'll have to owe me one after this, old man. The blonde said in a distorted voice and then raised his head, revealing his hollow mask. Half of the mask. Hiruzen, what the buck is that? He said, quite upset, since if he were the Kyuubi he would have red eyes. Kenpachi, that mask represents his hollow powers. He still doesn't control them well, that's why he has half the mask. Hiruzen, what is this about hollow powers? Kenpachi, you'll already know, now enjoy the fight, ha ha ha. He said as he put on a devilish smile. Ambu's thoughts, damn, I think even the Kyuubi himself would be scared to meet this demon. Minato, Naruto? Are you okay? She said, seeing his son's psychopathic look, which was even scarier thanks to the blood Naruto had from his wounds. Naruto hollow, better than ever father, ha 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 ha, so let's start the second round. He laughed like a madman and then launched a Getsuga Tenzo, but it was black and red. The resurrected ones could only cover themselves with their arms, but it was of little use to them as they ended up cut into pieces. Naruto hollow, I'm already tired of this technique, it's time to take down the ringleader. He said to cast another Getsuga Tenzo, but this time at Orochimaru, which was only replaced by a log to avoid death. Naruto hollow, damn snake, be still, I just want to kill you. He screamed with murderous intent. Hiruzen, what's happening to Naruto? Orochi, nothing is wrong with him, he is just letting the nature of his hollow come to light, since he only does more than kill his opponent, and that is what the blonde wants. Finish this quickly, he explained as he watched the blonde fight. Kenpachi, but why don't you call her? Orochi, there must be a reason. It could have ended this a long time ago, he said, looking at the blonde. Orochi, hey Naruto, didn't it occur to you to call her? At that the blonde looks at her, and then pats her face while he blocks a cut from Tobirama. Naruto hollow, damn, how has it never occurred to me before? He said to jump and make 2 colones. Naruto hollow, well Orochimaru, this ends here. You leave or I kill you. Orochimaru, haha, try it Naruto-kun. The resurrected are immortal. And even if you can make them disappear, there are too many for you to execute your technique. Naruto hollow, well, what if he killed me all in one cut? He said to start making hand seals, which were well known to the pervert and the old Hokage. Hiruzen, wait, I wasn't thinking of doing that jutsu, right? And how did you learn it? We have to stop this now. the old man said, terrified by the jutsu that his adoptive grandson was using on him. Orochi, calm down everyone, he has permission, he said, leaving everyone confused, but the old man wanted to go in. But it was too late. Orochimaru had tried to stop the blonde with the resurrected ones, he even attacked the blonde with his sword. But the clones prevented it. Naruto Hollow, Death Demon Consuming Seal, he screamed for a spectral shape to appear behind him. Shinigami, who called me? He said with a frightening voice and then looked down. Shinigami, oh Naruto-kun, why are you calling me? She said, Shinigami intrigued, but instead of having the scary voice she now had a woman's voice. Naruto Hollow, well, I have these nuisances together with a pedophile snake. The problem is that they are very heavy. I would like it if you would take them back. Shinigami, no problem, he said as if it were nothing to make a diagonal cut, which cut all the revived ones, causing them to begin to disappear. Seeing that, Orochimaru called his subordinates to escape quickly. Shinigami, well, that would be it. I'm going back to my house. If you want, you can come later. Naruto Hollow, it will be later. I will have to go look for the snake, and then deal with the council. Shinigami, wow, that's a shame. If you need my help again, call me, she said to disappear. Minato, hey Naruto, person for sealing the QB in you. But there was no other option. Kushina, someone extracted the QB from me, causing it to attack the village, so we had no choice but to seal it in you, in Uzumaki. Naruto, don't worry, I know why you did it. You just didn't do a very good job of making me look like a hero. Tobirama, not at all kid, your parents did well. It was just my stupid apprentice who didn't know how to handle the situation well, causing the stupid council to get involved in ninja matters. Hiruzen, I'm sorry, but age has affected me a lot, but it's still no excuse to get rid of what I've done. Naruto, well, that's enough of blaming, I do it. Hashirama, ha ha ha, that's true boy, apart from being strong you don't have a single bit of evil, apart from being intelligent. That reminds me of me, ha ha ha. Hashirama just started laughing like there was no tomorrow, just to make everyone's heads drop because he was so smart. Izuna, well boy, you surprised me. For a child you are very strong, although it is true that we were not 100%, that does not mean that everyone can beat us all together. That is something to admire. By the way, he was from the Uchiha clan? Hiruzen, well, regarding that, the Uchiha planned a coup d'etat to take power, since in Kyuubi's attack a Sharingan was seen in his eye, implying that it was controlled. I tried to negotiate with them, but in the end I had no choice but to send an Uchiha who was willing to eradicate his clan. He said it as quietly as possible so that people won't hear what he said. Izuna, it still hurts me that my entire clan has been eradicated. I have nothing to reproach you for. From what I understand, everyone here lived in peace, so if they threatened the peace that reigned in this town, they had to be stopped in one way or another. I don't know very well what Izuna's attitude is like, so I'll create my own. Which is similar to Madara, but he only wanted peace. Kushina, well, we're running out of time, he said, looking at how they were almost there to disappear. Minato, that's true, I would have liked to spend more time with you. But it's not possible for me, so I was going to keep talking if it weren't for a certain blonde. Naruto, I don't want to hear goodbyes, since that's when we won't see each other again. And that will not be so. Remember that I have the Shinigami as a friend, he said with one of her smiles, which was returned by his parents, which disappeared along with the others. Chapter 12. 3 days had already passed since the attack of the Sound along with the help of the Sand to Konoha. Thanks to the helpers of Shinigami and the Hollows, the damage to the village was minimal, resulting in the village being like new in these few days. Now we can see Naruto having breakfast with the Yorichi. Yorichi, by the way Naruto, what are you doing now that you have passed the exam? He asked, knowing the blonde's response. Naruto, I will leave a copy of me strong enough to stay here, so I can go to the Suriidai and Hollow World to train. Yorichi, I expected that, but why will you create the clone? Naruto, simple, the Hokage is already too old, resulting in the Civil Council taking advantage of the situation to gain power. A few years ago the Civil Council was only useful for that, advising things about the civilian population. But now nothing can be done without those elders giving the go-ahead, especially when it's about me. So I will create it so as not to cause problems for the old man. Just then the door rang, making the two stop talking. Naruto thoughts, now who the buck is he? He said to himself and then opened the door, meeting an Anbu. Anbu, Naruto Uzumaki el Hokage Saisaku de Sensha. Naruto, very good, I'll go as soon as I can. He said to watch as the Anbu nodded and disappeared. Yorichi, I think you talk too much about the council, haha. She laughed from the dining room. Naruto, well, it's not a problem either, sooner or later they would call me, better that way. He said to put on his Shinigami assistant clothes next to his Zanpakuto. Naruto, well, I'm leaving, if you want you can come. Yorichi, some old people who will receive what they deserve in front of everyone. May your pride be shattered? I'm in. She said, putting on the same clothes as always but without the orange jacket. Thus the two began to walk towards the Hokage Tower. When they arrived they passed by the receptionist who told them that they were already waiting for them in the meeting room. When they arrived at said room they found what they feared, the entire civil council plus the shinobi and the Hokage. Hiruzen, Naruto, you have been called by the civil council because of Orochimaru and the resurrected ones. Naruto, and what does the honorable civil council want from me? I asked sarcastically. Hamura, more respect, brat. We will not tolerate any disrespect or you will be executed. Hiruzen, I'm sorry to interrupt Hamura, but I am the only one who can dictate such a sentence to a shinobi. He said, looking hard at the counselor, who only gritted his teeth. Hamura, I'm sorry, Hokage, as I was saying, we called you because of what happened 3 days ago, but before that, can you explain who she is? She said, pointing to Yorichi who was sitting looking at her nails. Naruto, she is a friend who is accompanying me, and she was with the Hokage on the day of the attack. Kouru, perfect, she can collaborate with the accusations that have been made about you, since that is what you are here for. Naruto, and what am I accused of? Danzo, to use the power of the fox to fight against the resurrected. Naruto, first I didn't use the power of the Kyuubi, it was mine. Second, and if I had used it I would have been within my rights, if I had not died alongside the Hokage. Danzo, yes, you are right, but you could open the barrier, which you did not do, meaning that by using such power you could have endangered the village. And I doubt that the power you used is yours, since you are only a genin. Naruto, yes, and I doubt that all those bandages are from war wounds. He said, looking at Danzo, who just narrowed his eyes and fell silent. Naruto, but leaving that aside, if I had used such power you wouldn't be able to do anything. Hamura, are you implying that you used it? Naruto, you know what? Why not? If there is any problem? He said, making Yorichi and Hiruzen raise an eyebrow. Hamura, as you have all heard, Naruto Uzumaki has declared that he used the power of the fox, therefore he will be executed for the good of the village. He said so that some Anbus will come down and surround the blonde, who did nothing when he saw the Hokage. Hiruzen, Anbus retire if you don't want to be demoted to genin for the rest of your career. No Anbu will obey the orders of the civilian council, you are only with them for their protection. No more, no less. Hamura, Hiruzen, what are you doing? We have to eliminate Naruto, he is a threat to the village. Hiruzen, for you I am Hokage, and Naruto is no threat. Besides, you can't interfere in aspects dedicated to shinobi, and as far as I'm concerned Naruto is one of them. From now on, no one from the civilian council can interfere in shinobi things. It is clear? At that point, everyone on the council was filled with an uncontrollable amount of anger, which subsided when they saw a certain woman. Hamura, you will be one of Uchiha-sama's women, she said, pointing at Yorichi, who looked at Naruto. Hamura, Uchiha Sasuke is the last of his clan, therefore he is in the clan restoration law, making it possible for him to have a harem so that his clan can revive again. Yorichi, and how does that benefit me? Kouru, Uchiha-sama is 1,000 times better than that boy, he said, looking contemptuously at the blonde. At that everyone started laughing except those from the civil council. Hamura, what are the kings of? Yorichi, Please, that Uchiha is not capable of being powerful without using his Sharingan, nor with Jujutsu is he able to scratch Naruto. Kouru, damn insolent, you are under arrest for disobeying a direct order from the council. Naruto, I doubt it, she is not part of this village. Therefore they do not have permission to do anything to him. That includes marriage to a certain emo. Without further ado we left. She said to leave the room with Yoruichi, leaving the council more than enraged by such an action by the blonde. At that everyone began to leave, leaving the Hokage alone, who only looked towards the window seeing a certain white-haired Sannin. Jiraiya, the boy knows what he's doing. Even though I think he has something going on. Hiruzen, surely, but I doubt it's anything bad, except for those on the council. I think hell awaits them, he said as he lit his pipe. Back with the blonde. He had arrived at his house, finding the pleasant surprise of another Umbu at his door. Umbu, I'm sorry for the inconvenience, Naruto, but Hokage-sama forgot to mention to you that in 3 days you will go look for Senju Tsunade. It is not known why, but you will be accompanied by Jiraiya-sama. Naruto, okay. Anything else I need to know? Umbu, nothing more, with your permission I leave. He said to disappear, letting the blonde and Yoruichi enter the house, in which another person was waiting, which was Byakuya, who looked at him with the face of he would be, which was replaced by a vein on his forehead and a Yoruichi laugh at the blonde's comment. Naruto, Astia and Uchiha that they weren't extinct? Byakuya, how many times have I told you not to compare me to that clan? Naruto, and how many times have I told you to stop your attitude would be? There are no longer threats, there are no gaps. Byakuya, I told you that I'm not like before. But leaving that aside, those from the Suriidai are calling you. We have something to tell you. At that Naruto and company disappeared to appear in front of the Shinigami building. When opening the doors you could see all the captains with their lieutenants. Shinigami, well Naruto, you'll wonder why you're here. Naruto, I'm innocent, he said, missing everyone. Naruto, sorry for the custom. Shinigami, well, you have been called since, given your performance in the battle against the revived, you will be promoted in rank. Now you are a lieutenant, but a bit special. Naruto, what do you mean? He said, missing along with the others present. Shinigami, well, I thought it was time to create another division, the most powerful of all. The Alpha Super Resourceful Division will consist of 13 captains and a commander, which will be you if you reach that rank. This division will be special, since instead of being located here it will be in the human world, of course in secret. So to speak, it will be a base which you will be in charge of course I will be controlling it. What do you think about the idea? Naruto, sounds great, and how will I get the different captains and the others? Shinigami, you will get them thanks to this Fulton system, okay? No. Shinigami, simple, you will be in charge of looking for the captains and lieutenants. Of course I will give the members to you, or if you like you can also recruit yourself. It will be difficult, but this way you can be out of that village and be at ease. You will be like a Hokage. Naruto, sounds good, but the question is, how do I get promoted? Shinigami, you will have to demonstrate your strength as you did with the Edo Tensei. Naruto, what if I fight Kenpachi? Shinigami, it will not be possible, since if you want your own division you cannot do such a thing, since if you win you would be promoted to captain but of that division, since the confrontation will be taken as a battle for position. Naruto, so I have to face powerful people to prove my strength. And if I do not do it? Shinigami, in 4 years you will have a test which if you complete it you will be promoted. As you understand, I cannot do it now since even if you have power, your skills as a leader are not guaranteed. That is gained with years of experience. Naruto, very good, I hope to promote quickly. I like the idea. He said, thinking about his own base, with his different captains. Shinigami, I hope the same. By the way, those from the Hollow World have joined this idea, so you will also have to look for people to replace the Ten Sword. You can also try to recruit some Vasto Lord into your ranks. Naruto, but weren't all the holes eradicated? Shinigami, yes, but we can't make them simply disappear, it would be chaos, you always have to have a balance. So let's invent a way to create swords and vast lords without needing human souls. It is simple. Of course there are normal hollows, but they are humans with hollow powers like you. Naruto, come on, what you did was send humans to the hollow world to maintain a balance, he said, receiving an affirmation. Shinigami, as we have already talked about, you will have your own division. But you still have a long way to go to reach the rank of commander. To do this you have to defeat all the captains without using your hollow part. This rule is also set for the swords. So you trained with each captain and sword for 2 months. Additionally, you will be assigned a group of 20 members and a lieutenant so that you can learn how to lead people. Power is not everything. Without further ado, you can go. Or if you like, you can stay with me. He said the last thing with a sensual voice which made everyone sweat. Naruto thoughts. So much seriousness already seemed strange to me. With nothing more to say, everyone left, leaving Naruto back in the human world. Yorichi, I didn't expect that the Shinigami will form another division. I think it will be fun, he said as she laid down on the couch. Naruto, if the problem is finding the others. Yorichi, well, that's part of the fun. If you want, I can be one of the captains. Naruto, but weren't you captain of a division? He said strangely, since from what Yorichi said she had left the position to his student, but only for a supposed vacation. Yorichi, yes, but I think Soi Fang is doing well, otherwise, sooner or later I would leave her the job. Naruto, perfect, now there are only 12 captains and 10 swords left. But then he was interrupted by someone. White Naruto, I could be one of the 10 swords, he said excitedly, leaving Naruto confused. Naruto, but you can't get out of the sword, how do you plow it? White Naruto, I am not like Zegitus. I am the representation of your hollow powers, therefore if you find a way to take me out I would only come out powerless. But with a little training and rest I could get them back without you losing your powers. Naruto, sounds good, a bit complicated but you could try. Naruto, well, we just need to find people, but I'll leave that for later, he said, sitting in an armchair. Naruto, I still have 4 years of training and learning ahead of me, so I have time, he said to himself, and then started talking to Yorichi. The 3 days had already passed. We can see Naruto in his uniform with Yorichi, who wanted to accompany the blonde. Just then a certain white-haired boy appeared in a whirlwind of daughters. Jiraiya, are you ready, Naruto? The trip can be long, she said, and then looked at Yorichi. Jiraiya, who, it looks like you brought your friend. What's the matter? You didn't want to be bored at night, she said with a perverted face while elbowing the blonde, who only hit him, leaving him buried in the ground. Naruto, stop this nonsense, you old pervert. I brought her since she asked me, he said, trying not to turn red, which didn't work, making Yorichi start bothering him. After a few minutes of mockery by the former captain, the three proceeded to go to a village where Tsunade was supposed to be. A few days passed where they visited 3 towns, but no sign of the Sannin. These days Jiraiya taught Naruto the Rasengan, which was not difficult to learn, and even less so when you have 500 colones working on it. Right now Naruto was in the hotel bed, which he would buy with Yorichi, who was looking for information about Tsunade, while Jiraiya was collecting information. Just then the door is knocked, implying that someone was outside. Knowing that they were not his companions, Naruto placed his Zanpakuto on his back and opened the door, meeting Itachi and Kisame. Itachi, Naruto Uzumaki, you will come with us. Naruto, my mom told me not to go with strangers, she said, bringing a drop of sweat to Itachi and a laugh to Kisame. Itachi, your mother is dead, she said emotionlessly. Naruto, and yours too, you killed her, do you remember? He asked the Uchiha a little angrily. Who hid it? Kisame, very good child, now you come with us by force or calmly, decide. He threatened by drawing the sword from him to make the point clear forcibly. Naruto, ho? How aggressive Akatsuki are, but I doubt you can do anything to me, especially when I have Jiraiya. Itachi, I'm sorry to tell you that Jiraiya won't be coming for a while. Naruto, better. This gives me time to warm up a little, he said as he closed and opened his eyes, showing that they were now white Naruto's. At that, Kisame's sword went straight towards the blonde, who blocked it with Zangetsu. Kisame, you have reflexes. This will be entertaining, he said while exerting more force in the attack. Naruto, yes, it will be fun. But what if we go somewhere else? He asked and then deflected Kisame's sword and hit him in the stomach, followed by throwing a slash at Itachi who blocked it with a kunai. The two were thrown against the wall, but when they recovered, Naruto was gone. Kisame, damn kid, that kick hurt. And to make matters worse, he escapes. Itachi, he hasn't escaped, as he said, he's changed places. The bad thing is that he's releasing a lot of chakra, making both us and Jiraiya feel it. We will have little time to capture it. Leave this to me, he said to disappear in a sunshine next to Kisame. In a more secluded clearing you can see Naruto already prepared for the battle, which began when the two opponents appeared. Naruto, let's see what you S-class ninjas can do. Itachi, you're not going to see anything. Tsukuyomi, he said, activating his Manjikyu Sharingan and looking at the blonde, which remained motionless. In the Tsukuyomi, Naruto was now tied to a cross with his head down, not paying attention to where he was. Itachi, I introduced you to Tsukuyomi. It is a genjutsu which allows me to torture or do whatever I want with my enemies. I am sorry to tell you that this will last 3 years in which you will not be able to die, he said, waiting for a reaction from the blonde, which was different than what he expected. Naruto, ha ha ha, a genjutsu which you can torture people who can't die. What fun, he said, missing Itachi, who opened his eyes when he saw half a mask on Naruto's face, which had a psychopathic smile. Naruto, introduced me. My name is White Naruto, ha ha ha, and I will be in charge of making these 3 years hell for you, haha, he said, to break the cross and fall to the ground, surprising Itachi, who tried to deactivate the illusion, which didn't work, which caused White Naruto to cut the Uchiha in half. Itachi, why can't I deactivate the Tsukuyomi? White Naruto, it seems that if there is someone capable of countering the Tsukuyomi, they can prevent anyone from leaving until the 3 years pass. Isn't it fun? He said, to start throwing slashes at Itachi, who dodged and countered them as best he could. Out of the illusion, Kisame was looking at Itachi, until the 3 seconds passed, where he could see the Uchiha fall to the ground exhausted next to his eyes, which were bleeding. Kisame, hey Irache, don't you think your illness is worse? Itachi, it's not that, he said half-heartedly, thanks to pain and fatigue. Kisame was going to speak until someone interrupted him. Naruto, wow Itachi, that genjutsu is good, a shame it's not effective against me, he said, a little tired. Kisame, but why are you still standing? Itachi's genjutsu didn't work? Itachi, more or less. Who was? He asked, looking at the blonde who only placed his Zanpakuto on his back. Naruto, better not know. You better go if you don't want to die. Kisame, Hujun, the only one who would die will be you, brat, he said, to try to lunge, but Itachi stopped him. Itachi, Kisame, we should leave. Under normal circumstances we could against him, but my illusion, not being effective, has worn me down a lot, adding that Jiraiya will be soon to fall. At that, Kisame just clicked his tongue and then picked up Itachi and disappeared in a sunshine. After a few minutes, Jiraiya arrived expecting to find someone, only to find nothing. Well, yes, a devastating kick to the head from Might Guy, who came to warn of the presence of Akatsuki. After a few hours, everything returned to normal, including Sasuke, who had gone to the hotel to pick up his brother. Right now, the 3 of them were arriving at a bar/restaurant to have something to eat, when they ran into Tsunade in the restaurant. Jiraiya, Tsunade, how long? We have been looking for you. Tsunade, and why were you looking for me? Jiraiya, well, the Hokage is too old for that, so he has decided that you will be the next Hokage. Tsunade, I refuse, she said, spoiling the whole trip. Naruto, and can you know the reason? Tsunade, it's simple. Anyone who wants to be Hokage is a fool who seeks death quickly. Naruto, and the shinobi, right? There is not much difference between a Hokage and a shinobi. Both defend the village with their own lives. The only difference is that the Hokage is in charge of maintaining order in the village and managing the ninjas. If there is no person in charge, no one would be organized. You're just an old woman who has stupid traumas that you don't face. At that, Tsunade stood up, throwing the drinks on the floor, causing his companion to be alarmed and join Jiraiya. Tsunade, you and me. Now get out. If you win, I'll go to the village, if not, you'll give me all your money. Shizen, Tsunade is just a child, sorry. He doesn't know what he's been through, she shouted at Naruto, who just looked at her indifferently. Naruto, and what do I care? If he wants a fight, he will have it, he said, going outside with the Senju and the others. Tsunade, very good brat, whoever hits the first blow will win. I'll make it easy for you, I'll just use a finger, he said superiorly. Naruto, for my sake, don't complain later saying that you weren't at your 100%, he said, taking out Zenjutsu. Shizen, Jiraiya-sama must stop this. My teacher can hurt the child. Jiraiya, no need, Tsunade has become too confident. Naruto will have no mercy, besides, he is not just any child. At that, Tsunade tapped her finger on the ground, forming a large crack which headed towards the blonde. Naruto, seeing that, just disappeared and appeared behind the Senju, who realized when she already had the Zanpakuto on her neck. Naruto, too much arrogance in one person, never despise an opponent without knowing their strength, he said as his eyes changed to white Naruto's. Jiraiya, it seems that we have won, tomorrow we will return to the village, he said. He saw a motionless Tsunade next to a Naruto who was retreating towards the room.
Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.